What's going on out there? Real Enigmas and Theories is back again with another live stream. What's going on, Hump Day? Yes, indeed. We in the building. Okay. We got the professor in the building. Says he finally was able to catch a live stream. That's what's up, Professor. Happy to have you here. We got Del Senior in the building. We got Alyssa in the building. Carrie is in the building. Yes, indeed. Dieter is in the building. Carrie says that she would like to call in and share some of her predictions today. Yes, indeed. I will definitely provide you with that stream link so you can get on here and share your thoughts with us. Yes. Dieter says, good evening, everyone. So it must be evening where you are, Dieter. Ailey says, hi, everyone. Hey, everyone. Scarlet Fever's in the building. Shout out to Scarlet Fever. How you doing, sis? Chocolate Beauty is in the chat. Well, hump day is the middle of the week. It's kind of like we get over that hump and then we go on through the rest of the week. Yes. Okay. We got XOXO Sylvia in the building. Pretty Girl 101. We've got Dr. Deb. How you doing? We got Dr. Deb in the building. Bitey is in here. We got Golden Child. We got Mato. Miss T. Purple Alizé. We got Tanai in the building. We have El Plaga in the building. Okay. My man Percy Garcia. Yes. Jay Sleep. We got Miss Dawn P in the building. This is great. This is great. We're here. Did everybody see the video I dropped earlier? I dropped the video. We're gonna watch it in here while we wait for a couple people to show up. We have Michelle Peoples in the building. Hey y'all, what's good, sis? Pagan Sky. Tanai says, I just finished watch a trailer breakdown by Geekademy. I think he is a lot. He has a lot of similar ideas to you and Taran. Would be cool if you two collabed on a stream. That would be dope. I checked out a video that he did about the trailer, and he had made some very good points. I like his content. I should reach out. Definitely. No fight about that at all. We have Sifu Weber in the building. Variety time. Hey everyone, first time making a live. That's what's up. What's up, Variety Time? We have CA 1983 in the building. Hey Real and Frumley. Yes, indeed. Hey sis, how you doing? We here. Glad to have you here, by the way, Variety Time. I'm glad you could make one of the lives for sure. This is the Wednesday one. We do it a little bit earlier in the day. We're gonna stay on here for a little while and talk about this From thing. I just dropped a video about all of my predictions for season 3. It was light work. I didn't go episode by episode. However, I think my points had some power to them. As information comes, I will come with more theories and everything. And of course, while the season is going on, I'm definitely going to be cooking every episode, doing live streams and the whole nine. So stay tuned. Okay, Pagan Scott said she didn't see the video. That's cool. That's cool. We're gonna watch it here. Miss P Dawn P says, yes, good video. Thank you. Okay. Okay, Carrie watched it. So if for those who's already saw the video, if you don't mind, we'll watch it again here. And I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on my theories as well as some of your own theories about what you think will be going on. Um, hopefully our this, back and forth will jog your mind a little bit and make you want to think about some different theories, and all together we can figure this thing out. We can figure it out. Hold on. I'm gonna pull it up soon. I'm gonna show it shortly. Let's see. Okay. Everybody, I have a link in the bio for the channel. That is a permanent Discord link. If you want to join the Discord, definitely go check it out. The link in the channel bio. It'll stay on forever, so that way we don't have to keep changing it. If the mods could go grab the link. Matter of fact, let me go real quick. I will drop it in the chat so that the mods can grab it and do their thing as well. Give me a sec. There it is. Okay. Okay. So let me see if I can share this video file of my
Enigmas and Theories is back again.
Okay, it comes right up. Comes right up. Okay. We'll pause it there and get ready to show this. Chocolate Beauty says she had a little Fatima's gas pack, so she might have random questions. Hey, there's nothing wrong with it. I bet you, I know they probably don't have no food out there, but they probably still have some of that Fatima's gas pack. Probably made it through the blight. I'm sure of it. So we'll be all right. And I welcome all the random questions that you can muster. Let's try to have a real good one today. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and mute my mic and start the video so you guys can see this. All right.
Real Enigmas and Theories is back again with another video. Here we are, counting down to the premiere of season 3 of From, and the hype is all too real. So many dope theories. A lot of people are now covering the show, and a well-deserved welcome back from the fans tells me that we're in for a hell of a ride come this fall. But before we get there, I'd like to lay out my entire theory for season 3. And after it's all said and done, we can go back and see how well these predictions aged. So without further ado, Let's start where we left off with season 2. So there were 4 major plot points at the end of season 2. The wedding of Ellis and Fatima, Jade's revelation of the roots in the tunnels, Boyd saving the 3 before the music stops, and Tabitha waking up in the hospital outside of Frumlin. Now, the first 2 seasons of From started off with Boyd ringing the bell. I wouldn't be surprised if they started off season 3 in the same way. Season 1 ended with Boyd stuck in the well. Season 2 picks up where we left off with a dream of Boyd ringing the bell. But he was inside of that well, so technically, season 2 picks up right where we left off at the end of season 1 with Boyd stuck in the well. And the very last shot being inside of the diner when the radio turns on and the bus pulls up. Judging by the trailer, they've reshot the Tabby in the window scene, and I think that her scene will follow the opening scene, which I'm sure will start off in Frumlin. Maybe a vision or a dream like season 2. I've stated this before, but I'll say it again for the record. At some point in season 3, we'll hear a song by Steelers Will called Stuck in the Middle. If they use that scene in the beginning, I'm going to flip out, but I think it's definitely going to be somewhere in the show. I'm not going episode by episode, but all of my predicted events will be fragmented so that when we come back to analyze this video at the end of the season, we won't need an episode by episode playback. Either we were hot or we were very cold. You never know with a show like this anyway. So in Frumlin, the Matthews family has to come to grips with the absence of Tabby, and Victor was the last person to see her. Tabitha told Jim that she was going to have Victor take her to the bottle tree before she left, so he knows that she was leaving. However, I think that the whole family, including Julie and Ethan, will not only be sad about her missing, but they are going to press Victor real hard for some answers on what he really knows. This is why we see Victor's urgency in that interaction with Sarah about him needing to remember what's missing. Victor and Sarah didn't have any scenes together during season 1 and season 2. I think we're going to see a lot of that in season 3. We have Boyd and Jade pulling the cart together, and they didn't have many scenes either. Also, the scene with Jim and Kenny walking through the woods, and they didn't have much screen time together either. To me, this indicates that our residents will be sharing information with each other more, giving somewhat relief to the thing that I'm sure most people watching the show didn't like about the characters not talking to each other. That brings me to Jim answering the phone. Now remember, we see Kenny answering the phone in his dream, and many of your theories out there are that Jim is also dreaming in the trailer, but I'm going to predict that Jim is wide awake, and the voice on the phone is the same voice that was on the radio in season 1 and the same voice that was on the phone with Kenny in season 2. I think that Jim and Kenny will have a conversation about the phone call, and Jim will have some information pertaining to the trip that we see him and Kenny going on in the woods. I think that Jim will be told to travel west, which is the same direction that the sun traveled, and it's the cardinal direction of Kenny's homeland. I'm willing to bet that this picture right here is not of a snow globe, but it's a crystal ball, and it was used to see what Tabby was doing in the basement. The voice on the radio said something about Tabitha in the basement. If you look at it, the drawing is actually suggesting a view of only a few of the houses in town. And if this was a snow globe of Frumlin, I'm sure we'd at least see the lighthouse and at the very least Colony House. I think that we will see that someone in Frumlin has a crystal ball and practices catoptromancy, or scrying. Scrying is also known as seeing or peeping, which is a practice that's rooted in fortune telling. We see Sarah fortune telling. Donna foretold the radio tower crashing into the window. We saw Tilly playing solitaire, which was originally used for fortune telling. Even the intro song speaks of fortune telling. The future is not ours to see. Some practitioners of catoptromancy use crystal balls and even mirrors. We seen Boyd and Sarah in front of mirrors. The Jasmine Slowwalker was in front of a mirror. And the different mirroring aspects of Julie and Tabby. We even saw Tabby's reflection in the window at the hospital. I think that Jim will reach these cabins and find vital information as to some history of this place and more ways to fight the evils of Frumlin. I do not think that they've traveled back in time like my friend Taran Matharu has stated in his theory. However, one of his theories that I 100% agree with is his eclipse theory. I do think it will happen in Frumlin, and I will add that it will also happen in the real world with Tabby. We might see it on the news or hear someone mention it beforehand, but I think it's going to happen. And speaking of the eclipse, I think that it will be the day that our favorite pancake chef, Miss Lou, will be tortured in the barn with Boyd. I hate to say it, but I do think we will see the slow walkers get busy, and I think it's going to be on her. I know a lot of people think it's Fatima, but I'm going with Mrs. Lou. And that's who we see Boyd carrying in the church and who the funeral is for. And judging by the tarp that the body's wrapped up with, I think that's her in the cart too. I think that during this chaotic eclipse, Fatima was at Colony House with Donna. And that's why we see Boyd telling Donna about the ambush. Because if she was there and Fatima was there, then she probably would have already known about it. But she obviously didn't, because he had to tell her what happened. Several people will die, which will probably lighten the strain that's coming from that food shortage. I do think that the residents will be severely tested and maybe even consider cannibalism, but I don't think they'll actually go across that threshold. I think we'll learn more about what's going on with the gooey kids and how they may be the baby slow walker. I think there's also a connection to them and the Puritan character influence that we're seeing as well. This man is another one of Jade's visions that will shed some light and give some clues to yet another historical aspect, just like the Civil War soldier, and a possible link to what's going on with the gooey kids. Jade is linked to them and probably knows more than Tabby does at this point, but she's outside and she's now seeing paintings of Eloise who depicted them exactly how they were in the vision she had of them on the side of the road. And as far as Tabby goes, I think that she will leave the hospital and seek a priest, just like she did with Father Kotri in Frumlin. That priest will then put her in the direction of Victor's father, and we will see Tabitha and Victor's father go to see or look for Eloise. I think that we will find out that Victor's memories are not accurate and that it was actually Eloise who was wearing the bracelet and somehow was able to put it back in the storage room via a dream, which I believe is how she got it in the first place on the day of Julie's birth. Speaking of birth, I think that the season will end with Fatima going into labor, Jade making a major breakthrough in regards to the symbol, Boyd being challenged by yet another new threat, learning more about his connection to the slow walkers and the spiders, and Tabitha making a connection with Julie inside of Frumlin. Here's a few honorable mentions. Tabitha will contact her parents. She will meet a shaman on the outside and possibly a group that knows about Frumlin. I think somebody on the outside will try to stop her. Tilly is going to find out that Megan, her granddaughter, was there. I think that Elgin might die. Sarah's going to actually predict the coming of new people. I think that Clara with the eye patch might die. I also think that the newcomer that comes to Frumlin will know somebody. I think Jim is going to learn that he's connected to this place by his bloodline. And lastly, I think we'll see something sprouting from the soil to indicate that the blight is over and symbolize new beginnings. Now, these are just my theories based on the new trailer that we got and the 30-second teaser that we had. If they drop some more information or another trailer, I'm sure we're going to dissect that and probably come up with more theories, and maybe some of our theories will actually be debunked before the season even starts. Anyway, just something to think about while we wait on the next episode. That's all for my video today. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, so that was it. That was the video. I saw some questions out there. Um, one that was not too long ago. It was saying about we're gonna get to all of them. We're gonna get to everything. I saw this right here. This was pretty dope. But this right here is really dope. And I saw this as well. Um, the crystal ball was just showing you one area of town. It was just a few houses. And below below the houses, you could see that there was a tunnel that led to each house. Very similar to what Tabitha, there was like a corridor right there, just happened to be right under her house. And so apparently this picture shows that every house has a corridor where the tunnels lead to under the house. And I'm going to say something else. I always ask, how did that monster get in there to get Tom out of there? And how did they get him out of there? You know, like without just tearing his whole body apart. Um, that monster probably came from inside the house. It's very possible. I don't know. Who knows? But I think it's very interesting, and I don't think that is a snow globe. I think it is some sort of catoptromancy, which is like where you would use a mirror, like where they say mirror, mirror on the wall. You have other mirrors. Some use multiple mirrors where they have like a three-sided mirror, a mirror that has it kind of like folds out into three, and some people use that to tell fortune, speak to their different faces. The three faces that you're looking at would be your past, present, and future face. Some people use that in fortune telling. There's a lot of fortune telling going on in the show. You have the actual show says the future's not ours to see. It also talks about pretty much the fathers are being asked the future by the children. The children are asking the father what their fortune is. Am I going to be rich? Am I going to be handsome? You know, these are things that you would ask a fortune teller, or a fortune teller would tell you. So then you also have Sarah was able to predict the two cars coming in. She said that the voices told her that. So that was fortune telling. Um, we also had Donna, who's this is one of the things to me that makes Donna sketchy as hell. Not only does she always have her hands in her pocket, but she told them almost exactly when the radio tower was gonna come down and crash through the window. So that was sketchy as hell to me. You know what I mean? And also, where did her Randall knocked her upside the head? She had blood coming down. The very next episode, it's gone. The scar was gone. There's no scar, there's no knot, there's no black and blue indication. I mean, they got a scar on Jim's head. They even showed Boyd where he cut his hand and it was all dried up looking. So like what the hell's going on with Donna, y'all? Um, that's one thing that we can talk about for sure. But what do you think about my video? If you had a question about the video, repost that question again so I could catch it this time, because we were watching the video, so I didn't get to see it. But one of the questions is, somebody said that they need me to explain what I mean by um Eloise getting the bracelet through a dream. Okay, give me a couple of seconds here. So you have Eloise. Eloise, she has painted the Civil War soldiers. Now, Tabitha told Jade that those were from stories that her mom gave her. And I'm wondering if Eloise saw them, told her mom, and her mom told her about the Civil War or told her about some of this situation. What kind of stories would you tell a child about Negro regiment soldiers unless the child has saw them, you know? When you look at where Tabitha went in the basement at Victor's house, with Victor's father, he shows her Eloise's paintings, which I believe to be Eloise's paintings. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but I believe them to be Eloise's paintings. And in the paintings, she painted the two gooey kids exactly how they were in Tabitha's vision of them. And my thing about that is Tabitha had that vision maybe a few days before. uh Let me share my screen. Tabitha had that vision maybe a few days before she left Frumlin. And so this these children here are painted exactly like they were in Tabitha's vision. Um, I think I have a picture of Tabitha's vision as well. Here it is. And these are painted exactly the same as Tabitha's vision. So I believe that Eloise has some sort of gift. And I believe that Eloise is who got the bracelet from the day of Julie's birth. Now, Taran has a theory that the bracelet went missing um, in the car, in Jim's death trap of a car. Now, I think that it got lost at the actual hospital. Jim says it got lost at the hospital. I know that when a man is there with his wife having labor, they make him scrub up. They make him take the gloves off. They make him take any kind of jewelry, and they make him scrub up to go into the delivery room as well, just as a nurse or orderly would have to scrub up. So he puts on his PPE and he sets the bracelet down. And I think that that's how it got lost. Um, that's a good question, Jay Sleep. Do I think? Hold on, where is it at? Do you think Julie was born in the same hospital Tabitha is in now? No, I do not. I think that that hospital that Tabitha's at now is in the city of where Victor is from. And I don't think that Tabitha was born in the same city where Victor's from. So no, I don't think so on that end. But that would be dope. That would be crazy. I mean, a hospital was brought up and then she gets put in the hospital. I mean, yeah, that sounds like it could connect. I don't think that is the uh the case. Gardenia Blossom says, "Do you think dream catchers are significant to Eloise?" Yes. And dream catchers. Now, this is what I'm saying. I think Eloise is who is having the dreams and who is actually had some sort of gift. It could have been all three of them, Victor, his mom, and Eloise. Um, I think that, like, for instance, I think that the mother and the daughter thing is very significant. So we have a mother and daughter, we have Eloise, and we have Miranda. But we also have Tabitha and Julie. Now, there have been so many things that mirroring things with Tabitha and Julie, and I think that that's significant. As a matter of fact, the mother and daughter thing is kind of very significant when you look at the fact that the first two victims on the show were a mother and a daughter, Megan and Lauren. So yeah, I think that there are some connections there. They have shown us multiple mirroring aspects of Tabitha and Julie. Okay, so let me see if I can find a couple of them. And I know one right off the top of my head, which is new, which one that I just realized not too long ago is that Tabitha is, if you can see right here, Victor put this rope over her over her left shoulder. Okay. Now, when Julie was being saved by Victor at Colony House, he put this over her right shoulder. I think you can see it here better. Like he puts it right over her right shoulder. Taran just popped up. Let's add him to the stage. Peace, my brother. How you doing?
Hey man, sorry I'm a bit late. Just dinner overran a little bit. Hi everyone. Catch me up, man. What have I missed?
All is well. I just got done playing my video from earlier today with my theories in there for
Oh
season
yeah,
3.
man. I love the last minute of that video. You were just like, I was like, okay, this is like, not too specific. And then like the last minute, you're just like dropping specific prediction after specific prediction after specific prediction. It was great.
Well, great. Thank you. I'm
Mm.
glad you enjoyed it. I can't wait to hear your theories because you and I we go back and forth and we get the oils churning here and the wheels churning
Mm-hmm.
and it helped me a lot with a lot of my theories. Um at the same time we disagree on a lot of things, but we
Yeah.
come together and we solve the show in ways that each other doesn't. So,
Mm.
yeah.
It would be interesting to see at the end of season 3 to reconvene and see if how much our theories have changed, given the events of season 3. Like what does it rule out about our theories of the show, you know?
Oh yeah, and it's something different is about there's something different about this season and the way it's starting and everything. I think
Mhm,
that there's more traction. I think that there are more people aware of the show,
mhm,
and
mhm.
there are a lot more people covering it. And I think that there's some bouncing back and forths among theories, and a lot of things are changing. And the way that we're going into this theory, I mean, into this season is we already have like pretty much a set batch of theories, right?
Mhm.
But as this season goes on and progresses, this trailer really changed the game and really changed a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I mean, for real, it really changed a lot. It added more mystery than we actually had to begin with, like with who's in the cart, who's being tortured in the barn.
Mhm,
Um, why are there two different events where we could see some sort of chaos going on in town?
mhm.
There are just a slew of mysteries going on. Now
Yeah.
we see that Eloise actually did get out and was painting. So
Mhm.
what we know, that trailer actually gave us a lot.
I mean, it didn't really change much for me, to be honest. It only changed my theory in 2 ways, 'cause I already believed that Eloise had gotten out. I already believed that Eloise had something to do with painting. I know you did as well, Real. You
Mhm.
thought she would have something to do with painting, early on too, I think.
Yes, I
Um
did.
So that didn't change necessarily for us. And frankly, my prediction that people are going to time travel on the show, the trailer just made it more likely for me, if anything, because we see people going on a journey. I mean, Real, do you mind if I make a suggestion here?
Sure.
If we look up Ricky He's interview on Reddit, his Ask Me Anything, there's some very interesting stuff that he have you looked at that yet?
Yes, I have. Hold on, let me pull it up. I
I'm gonna
know
send
that
you.
I know that you have sent it to me.
Let me see if I can find it.
I
I
have it
found it
up
for you.
here somewhere.
I'm
Oh,
just gonna send it to you on WhatsApp,
all
so you
right,
have it.
got you.
There it is. Got it.
Okay.
So there was some really interesting things that I thought we could discuss together. Do you mind scrolling down a little?
Sure.
All right. So let's go question by question, and see if there's anything there. Okay, there's nothing on the first question that's interesting. Next one, please.
Okay.
Okay, so this is interesting. It takes 5.5 months to film a season. We shot season 3 from late December 2023 to end of May 2024. Now, that's the people in Fromland. That doesn't necessarily mean that's when Tabitha was filming. In fact, I actually think that Tabitha was filming at very different times to the rest of the show, because the director, well, I think that she will be in different locations in the United States, different locations potentially in Europe. That's my theory. So I think that they would need to film separately with her because they're probably using the same director, Jack Bender. But what's also interesting, Real, is that I've used this to I've been looking at the actors on Instagram, as you know, and I previously thought that there were loads and loads of them. Sorry, this is something, but anyway, it's helped me do some researching on who was filming in Nova Scotia at that time. So that's very interesting, and you can see that all the actors during the period that they're filming, all of their Instagram posts are like old posts, like professional photographs that have been taken previously and stuff like that. A little bit of them like having drinks and stuff in Nova Scotia, but that's about it. And it's mostly they don't even film where they are outside. They tend to film inside, having like house parties. So what do you think of that, Real? Have you looked into this? Have you looked at these dates and looked at the actors' profiles to see if there's any tidbits?
Yes, and I did do that, and there was something that you mentioned to me that you're right about. Tabitha's actress did a lot of traveling after the season filming. The thing about it is, you're right. They really wouldn't need the rest of the cast because everyone else is stuck in Frumlin,
Mm-hmm.
and so they would need, just her. If
Yeah.
they were gonna, like, for instance, if just hinting at your theory about the Da Vinci Code style traveling expedition and fact
Mm-hmm.
finding artifacts and things, um, they would need to, of course, go to those places and film
Yeah,
them. Which,
it's all in Europe, right? Because like a lot of these artifacts were created before America was really colonized, and they all originate in Europe, right? Most of them. So why would they all be in the United States if she is going on a quest to find artifacts, like I think she will? No one's going to believe me until we see it on the show. But my feeling is what will happen is Tabitha, Henry, and Eloise. I think Eloise has been. I kind of picture it like this, right? So Eloise, Tabitha realizes Eloise is her mom. Henry realizes that Tabitha is his granddaughter, and then I think that she will like open a door in her home, like a secret door or like a secret room in her house, and it will be covered in like drawings and newspaper articles, and like it'll look crazy. It'll look like a crazy theorist, probably like me, to be honest. It'll look like me, and you, Real. It'll look like both of us, and that's how I picture it. And then it will lead them to like I've been studying this, and I saw the symbol that we see in Fromland. I saw it in this like old diary belonging to this guy. Who could it be? I don't know who. Maybe it'll be like someone sent me a letter and there was like a mysterious riddle in it, or maybe Eloise is like remembering a riddle. But I think there'll be some sort of riddle component. We've already had riddles hinted at on the show, haven't we? Like, okay, so think about this, Real. I came to this theory of her looking for artifacts and her looking in paintings and like carvings and things for clues, right? I came up with that theory separately, and then later I realized that's what we're doing on the show. We've got Victor doing paintings and everyone trying to look for clues there. We've got carvings on walls. We've got, symbols and drawings and things. I just think I think that there's a real possibility that they're hinting at this. So, and a lot of these drawings that Ellis does, they're very much in the style of Da Vinci. Like they're sort of black and white sketches, a lot of anatomy being done. So I kind of picture that. I don't know what's going to set them on this quest, but I do believe it starts with Da Vinci, and I think it ends with Stephen King. And then I think we're gonna meet Stephen Fry. I could give you a whole list of celebrities that I think we're gonna see. Let me just bring it up now. So I think it will be Stephen Fry, Stephen King, Neil Gaiman, potentially. I know he's had some trouble on social media recently. Tim Burton, Guillermo del Toro, Jordan Peele, potentially, and Neil deGrasse Tyson. And then like some bonus predictions: Rihanna Pratchett, Dr. Phil, and Phil Collins. These are people that I don't know if they'll come up on the show. I just know that they've left the clues for potentially to have at least one of these guys on. I think Stephen King for sure. We'll see about the others. I don't know. But that's sort of where I think it's headed, to be honest. I think that they're going to follow symbols and stuff. They're going to end up with someone who's going to give them a diary. They're going to read the diary, and the diary is going to tell the story told through the lens of a memoirist from the 15th century called Philip de Comines, who was a famous memoirist at the time. And I think that his diary will tell the story of how Fromland was created. That's what I think.
Mm.
Sorry, I talked for way too long there. I apologize.
Oh
I'm very
no, not at all. Not no. I mean, I was vibing with you for sure, especially with that last point that you just made of the possible origin story coming possibly from this guy's diary.
Mhm.
You know, I'm gonna say this. I'm not mad at that theory at all. It definitely sticks. It definitely has some glue to it. I
I
would
mean, I'm
I
so certain. I'm so certain. I don't know how to put it into words. There's so many things that point me at this.
now what I think about the origin story of From, I think that it would be more now when I have a theory about something, I try to think about if this would be interesting for the watcher or not.
Mhm, mhm.
And I think that the origin story should come from somebody that's either been there for a long time, somebody like Martin, something like a Martin character,
Yeah.
or
Has to
or
be alive at the time. Is that what you're thinking?
or a big bad, or some sort
Big
of
bad.
big bad
Mm, mm.
situation.
But they would
Um,
be alive at the time in your head. It's like, "I was there. This is what happened. Let me tell you my story." Is that
right.
how you're picturing it?
Yes, or the big bad's telling the story. And I would love it to be the big bad. I would
Mhm.
love it to be the big bad. I said this before. I think that Jim is related to the architects of this place, and he will learn about his family history in reference to this Frumlin, and that will also connect Julie and Ethan by blood as well to this place.
I agree with you. I think that Jim will time travel back to 1978 and meet his granddad there.
Mm,
And I think that Ethan is gonna kill his own granddad somehow.
I remember you said that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that they've tried to include every paradox that, like, is famous on the show. We definitely have a bootstrap paradox, right? And
Hmm.
I feel like by including the grandfather in the bootstrap paradox, they're also hinting at a grandfather paradox. Are there any other paradoxes that you're familiar with, real, that you think might come up on the show? Like types of paradox? Have you thought about that at all?
Uh, now, Bhakta,
Mm,
I've thought about some things with Bhakta and her grandmother knowing that nursery rhyme.
that's important, man. I agree with you. I think that's really important.
I think something's gonna fall there, and I also think that Elgin is gonna have something to do with it as well. I think that what Elgin is creating with those with his knitting and teaching them how to do is going to be instrumental later on. But I do think Elgin will perish. I think Elgin's going to perish at some point.
Mhm.
That's good. But before then, they'll build his character up to be rather important in a sense, rather important, because they've already had him interacting with Sarah, and they already had him interacting with Julie. I think it's him and Julie are the naked couple on the Adam and Eve tapestry. That's my thought.
Interesting.
So
Well, I guess we'll find out a bit more. I don't know if we'll find that out in season 3 though, huh?
No, we won't. And
Yeah.
I don't think he'll actually. I said that in my prediction video that he'll die in season 3. I'm gonna say that I'm about 70% sure on that. Well, I'll actually give him a little more. I'll say that I'm about 50% sure on that.
On what?
Because
Sorry, specifically.
on Elgin dying in season 3. Because I think they'll probably use season 3 to make his story a little bit more important and make some clues fit. They definitely tried to hide what was going on with Elgin in the trailer. They just gave us one shot of him, and some people think he was sitting in front of the ventriloquist dummy, but he wasn't. That's two different.
Different rooms. Different
Yeah,
rooms.
they
He's in
were
the
in
kitchen,
different
right?
rooms. Yeah, he was in the kitchen at Colony House.
Yeah,
And
but they don't have an armchair in there.
right, exactly. And so I don't think that's what that is. And I think that they just had to show him to us because he has some sort of significant role.
Well, people
Especially,
are suspicious of him, aren't they? Because Victor says, I don't like him, right?
well, he had a whole nothing burger. Like
He
he
was,
said, his
yeah.
dream was a whole nothing burger. He said he had some dream about water and all of this. And then next thing you know, it turned out that Fatima's pregnancy reminded him of the dream. And then the dream was about the little boy in white saying the thing. Like, so, yo,
Yeah,
none of
that's
that made
all
any sense.
clue. That's all clue and no plot, in my
Right.
opinion.
They gave us nothing with, oh, he has a dream. Oh, he saw water. Oh, somebody
Yeah.
tried to drown him.
It's to
And then they
suggest
say,
that
oh,
he's
your
connected to
pregnancy
water.
reminded me of the boy in white. Like,
Yeah, that makes no sense, right?
it made no sense. So I think that there's going to be, I think at the very least, we'll find out what the rest of his dream was and how significant it is. And as I said before, I think that as we go along, everything that's happening to our residents is going to make them stronger. We're going to lose a lot of them. We're going to lose some important people that we like in the show. However, I think that whatever we see them going through is going to make them stronger. I think Jade's going to have major breakthroughs. I think Boyd is yet again going to face another threat and knock it out the park again. Shout out to Dieter for the $2 super chat. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Support the channel. Thank you for your generous donation. It's well appreciated. What are you guys thinking about our conversation so far? Let's see. Yeah, I agree. I kind of feel like Ellis is like the corny version. I mean, Elgin is like the corny version of Ellis. He definitely kind of fits that bill. But I think that Elgin is like a Victor and an Ethan kind of. Ethan and Elgin both had seizures. That connects him to Sarah. Sarah was the only other person that had seizures. So, but then you have Sarah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that there's something about people who on their first day in Fromland are asleep or unconscious. Because remember, right, Jade hits his head when he's being carried into Colony House, right? And then Kenny has to go back for him, and then they all go back, and then they go back to the door. Now, maybe that was added for dramatic effect, and also so that you can delay Jade's outburst and stuff to the next day. You know, that makes a lot of sense because they want to go through Julie and Tabitha without Jade's comic relief, so they had him go unconscious, right? Because it's a very serious scene. So I get that as well. But Elgin's asleep when he comes in. Tabitha's knocked unconscious when she comes in. Jade's knocked unconscious when he comes in. Ethan's knocked unconscious when he comes in. All of these people were unconscious when they came in, and they're all having visions. The only one who is having visions that doesn't seem to have been unconscious when they came in is Sarah.
Right.
But Sarah, we don't know her story about how she came into Fromland. So if my prediction is this, if we get a flashback showing Sarah arriving in Fromland somehow, if we learn that Sarah was knocked unconscious somehow, or she was sleeping when they drove into Fromland, some comment like that, then we'll know that has some importance.
Yes, the seizures and the being knocked unconscious definitely has something to do with it, especially when Boyd was having a discussion with Christy in the clinic. He asked about the seizures that Sarah was having and also the seizures that Ethan had in the RV. So that's definitely got something to do with it. And also we got the whole Jesus archetype from Jade when he busted his head on that rock. They picked him up and he was looking like the Christ figure on the like Christ on the cross. They had him there. I don't know if anybody caught that symbolism, but they do that at times with characters. Yeah, but I see SL Rose says Elgin and Victor will both remember things that are connected and team up like Jim and Kenny, but Elgin will be unalive before they piece it together. And that's kind of what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, actually, SL Rhodes. I said it in the video. I think that the I think that the I think that the oh, okay, hold on. I think that they're going to set up Elgin and give his story a little bit more relevance. And they will, I don't know if he'll be unalive before they piece it together. However, he's gonna go. And and the reason why I'm saying that is I don't really have much as a reason why I'm saying that. But the main reason why I'm saying it is because on that promotional folder, they put him in the corner with two dead people. And that's just not a good sign for me. You know what I mean? He's down there with Katri and Kenny's mom. And so I think that um I think we all think that Kenny's mom is going, right? I think we all can agree there. So if that's the case, then Katri, we know he's already gone. So why is Kenny's mom and Elgin placed right there with Katri? I think that's a clue that they are on their way up out of here. Now, Elgin might go in the season finale. That might be crazy. But if he doesn't go this season, he's going next season. And Victor too. Victor's gonna go at some point too. Victor has passed over his spiritual authority and wisdom to Ethan. And that has pegged him for the chopping block. That's you got to go now. Because now we don't need a character like you because you just now gave it all to Ethan, who is also a mirror of, okay, you have Ethan is a mirror of Victor. Julie is a mirror of the sister. Ethan's the younger brother. Victor's the older brother. Julie's the older sister. Eloise is the younger sister. Then their mom got brought in there as well. My thing that I've been trying to figure out is why in the hell did Victor put Eloise's drawings in Christopher's car? That is a clue. It's significant.
I think Victor put them there himself, personally. Can we? Oh, sorry to ask. Can we keep going through Kenny's questions? Because I think I wanted to show you something. It's the real reason why we're here. Do you mind to keep scrolling?
Absolutely.
It's interesting. It only takes 5.5 months. Okay. Oh, this is just interesting that Ricky He's first scene because of COVID was chopping down the tree. I thought he did a really good job on that scene, to be honest.
Yeah, he was hyped.
And he said, yeah, he was super nervous. He was freezing. He was covered in blood. He'd never met anyone. You know, it's his first like sort of starring role potentially as well. I know he's done some other things, but this is probably like the biggest thing. And I thought he nailed it, quite honestly. Like his crying, he's sort of sobbing, he's grim faced. I thought he did great. But that is not the thing I wanted to show you. So please keep going. So here's something interesting, right? So someone says, "What's your favorite theory?" Blah blah blah. The important thing is at the bottom, which is, "What's your favorite theory?" on Reddit, and he says, "I think the Civil War stuff is cool." And then he puts a thinking face. Now, Jim and Kenny go to the place with the hoodoo dolls. I believe the hoodoo root doctor is Caroline Dye. And therefore, Kenny's gone to 1864 in season 3. And that's a little hint that he's dropped in there. The Civil War stuff is cool because it's going to come up in season 3. But that's also not what I want to show you. So please keep going.
Before we keep going, I want to shout out
God.
Chocolate Beauty for the most generous donation, $20. Thank you for your generosity, sis. She says, Taran, I admire your creativity and believe you should write a fan fiction about From. However, I respectfully disagree with your theories on the cameos and the artifact retrievals. Also, who is messing with the lamps? That's a very good question, and I'm gonna let you respond to what she said right there. Again, thank you for your generous donation of $20 to the channel. Much appreciated.
Yeah, Choco Beauty, thank you so much. It's very, very kind of you. You know, $20 is no small amount. So, and of course, it's going towards Real's trip to Newfoundland with me if we can still arrange that. Yeah, it should be great. So yeah, so you're saying you respectfully disagree about the cameos and the artifacts. You know what, Choco Beauty, I would if I was you watching me talking about theory crafting, saying that we're going to get these cameos and like literally dozens of artifacts, I would not believe me either, because when you watch the show, the clues don't seem apparent, right? Like, I'm telling you these things are going to happen, you're like, where is this coming from? It's coming out the blue. All I can say to you is, I've been trying to convince people that the main way the show hides clues is not in the background and in the like symbolism that you see on the show necessarily. It's actually in the dialogue. It's in the words that they use in the dialogue. And basically words that are repeatedly used on the show or used with emphasis or are slightly awkwardly placed. You know, like for example, when Elgin talks about like little owls being knitted, you know, that's one of the more obvious ones, right? But they hide it in the dialogue itself. And then you have to if you believe me there, then you have to understand as well that on Wikipedia, basically, they've left this trail of clues to historical figures all across history, and also all these artifacts, believe it or not. I don't know how I've got this far into the theory. They've just done such a good job of laying the groundwork for it. Look, I know it sounds crazy, but anyway, my point is this: unless you spent the many, many hours, and I'm embarrassed to say how much time I've spent studying from and reading through Wikipedia and trying to stitch together what the clue they've left a network of clues for us to follow. It's really interesting. They're like these threads that you have to rewatch the whole show and pursue. Basically, first you need to understand all the visual clues, and then you put all the word clues on top of that as a framework. So you're like, okay, the visual clues are pointing me towards 1502, around that year, and ships and stuff like that. So you get all that, and then you're like, okay, what are all these words pointing to? And it all stitches together. So my point is, I actually, if I was in your shoes and I hadn't spent all those hours and I hadn't sort of predicted that I'm going to find something in a Wikipedia page and then find exactly what I think I'm going to find, you know, and then doing the same thing all day long, you know, either I've lost my mind or I really do think that the showrunners have left this thread of clues. But we'll see if I'm right. But my point is that I have no issue with people who disagree with me respectfully, as you have, because I believe that is the natural reaction. Because I have not spent hours and hours going through with screenshots and word references and quotes explaining how I got to where I am now. So basically, yeah, that's cool. I think if you see that I've written down like 15, 16 historical figures that that I think are going to show up in season 3. If they don't show up in season 3, then I've lost my mind. However, if they do show up in season 3, you've got to wonder if I've managed to guess correctly all these historical figures just for one timeline, and then I'm telling you that there's all these other historical figures in all these other timelines. You know, I do wonder if that's going to change people's perspective on things. And I think that actually there's going to be a bit of a divide in the fandom community where some people will think I've read some sort of leaked script and then I'm writing a theory based on what I remember or something like that. I think that's one theory that people will have, but I genuinely believe that what I'm predicting is going to happen on the show. So now I'm thinking about what's going to happen next. There's going to be a few false positives, a few historical figures that I say will be there that won't. They may just be background characters, and you have to sort of guess who they are via context. But I think if I am right, and there are like 20 plus historical figures in season 3, people that I've named, then we need to look at the other dates on the wall and wonder what other timelines are going to appear and wonder whether I've managed to guess those correctly as well. So we'll have to see. Sorry for talking so long.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. And Chocolate Beauty is definitely a reasonable mind. I've been going back and forth with her. She makes some good points. And yes, and you know, she definitely appreciates the research that we put in together, to the point to where even if she doesn't agree, I think it's kind of astonishing that she actually wants to see you write a From fan fiction based on your theory if it's wrong. I do want to pose this question to her, and
Sure.
I'm going to look and keep my eye out for her to answer in the chat. Or if she wants to, she could come up here as well. I'm going to put out a link so that whoever wants to come up. I know Carrie said she was going to come up today while you were on and go back and forth. She's another great mind that has some great theories. But I want to say this to you, Chocolate Beauty, and whoever else this may apply to. What would it take for you? What would you have to see in order for you to believe Taran's theory? And for those of you who don't believe my theory, what will it take for you to see? What would you have to see in order for you to believe in my theory as well? I want to pose those questions to y'all. Y'all could like to chat up with that. But Taran, we can go back to this Reddit thread here while we do this.
Yeah,
While
let
I'm gonna
them
keep
think
my
a
eye
little
on the
while.
chat, and I might periodically interrupt you to highlight
Yeah,
some of
yeah.
these chats.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
So he's highlighting the Civil War stuff. You know, I think that's pretty interesting that he's done that. Especially as I think we both think hoodoo is what's at play here. You believe it might be Tatuba. I believe that it's Caroline Dye. We'll see who's correct. Keep going down. Kenny mentions his pancakes. Nothing too interesting there. Keep going. No, that's just talking about the trailer. Basically, oh yeah, here we go. It's this next question here. Thank you, Debbie. That's very nice of you to say. I think I very much appreciate that because not many people do. Even Real, he's like you're halfway there, and then you go off the deep end. Is that that's sort of how you feel, Real, right?
Not really. I think that no, I think you're spot on with a lot of what you're saying, even the artifact finding and everything. I just don't think that it's going to actually happen on the show in the way you think it's going to happen. I think that there are going to be a lot of artifacts like the crystal ball, a ring, a knife. There'll be some things that our residents will be finding that will make them stronger. They'll learn how to fight this place, and we'll see them doing things like creating things like talismans and the Nkisi dolls that we saw um in the woods with Jim and Kenny. So
Did you read that thing
I
about voodoo dolls that I sent you, or watch the video?
I didn't yet. I was gonna do that later on, but I got tied
No,
up.
no pressure. I just
But
wondered because I was going to mention it was interesting to learn that voodoo dolls are not really a thing. So far, like it would be politically incorrect for the showrunners to include voodoo dolls as actually being part of voodoo.
oh, okay, yes, indeed, yes, indeed.
So it has to be hoodoo, right? Has to be hoodoo.
Right. It has to be hoodoo.
Yeah.
That's what I was explaining before. Because voodoo is a religion. Voodoo has to do with the more religious aspects uh of that that school of thought.
Well,
However,
this title episode's real. We need to look that up right now. IMDb.
oh, do you think?
That's what the comment's saying, right? Hey Taran, what do you think of the title episodes of season 3? Isn't that what they
Okay.
mean?
Yes,
But hang on, I'm on it IMDb and there is no
there's only
episode
one.
titles.
There's only one. I think the first episode.
Maybe
Well,
the person
there's only one bit of information, and that's the new the cast, the
yeah.
new cast members that they have. I don't think they have the episode titles yet.
Yeah, so whoever is Golden Child, if you wouldn't mind explaining um what you mean by that, that would be very nice of you.
Okay, so I can say this to his question. Um Season 1 and season 2 episode titles definitely have to do a lot with the theories that we have. I
Yeah, A
think
Long
that
Day's Journey into the Night is one of the there's this author called Eugene O'Neill who's actually quite important in the chain of custody of the diary that I'm talking about. So I found it very interesting that they used the title of his most famous book and play as the title of one of their episodes. I thought that was pretty cool. Sorry.
yes. Okay, so I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna find. Did she comment it yet?
No, but hey, while we wait for the person to respond with what they meant by that, perhaps we could look. This next question is what I want to show you.
Okay.
So if you just scroll down a little bit, there it is. That one. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. We actually have a lot of practical effects on our show. We have super talented team, Patrick Beverly and Mike Lewis, who, by the way, are super talented. They do a lot of the crazy monster stuff that you see. Patrick has worked on a bunch of your favorite shows and movies. He's currently in Thailand working on Alien, which is super cool. Like the person working on Alien is also working on From. How is this show not more popular, you know? We're super lucky to have him. And then this is the thing that's cool. There's one thing they created for this season that's a fully practical effect, and it's crazy in capital letters. Wish I could tell you what it is, but it traumatized Harold a bit when he saw it. He threw up. And then also in San Diego Comic-Con, there was an Instagram clip of them doing an interview on the boat, the IMDb boat, and Boyd mentions that again. He says that thing, I didn't realize it was a practical effect thing, but he said that thing, that scene has traumatized me for life. Now, is it a prosthetic, a practical effect of Fatima having her baby ripped out of her? That's what I'm thinking. But if it isn't that, then I think it's a giant squid.
Mm.
So let's see. Let's see. What do you? I'm the only reason I raise this, Rio, is it might impact your theory, right? Like they're going to show us some sort of new major practical effect. So I just wanted you to see it.
Okay, so it's gonna be a practical effect. Now,
Mhm.
it could definitely be the baby being ripped out, or it could be the way they tear up Tien Chen in that barn.
Yeah, that's true. But we've seen a lot of people ripped up. You know, like we've seen. I just don't know if Ricky would highlight a practical effect that would make Boyd throw up when we've seen so many people completely ripped to shreds. Like I feel like it would be something gut churning. And I don't even think that it would necessarily be a monster. That's why I'm thinking it might be Fatima's like a horrible, unforced birth. You know what I mean? Like I just think that it's like that's the sort of thing that would make you throw up. Someone's baby being ripped out of them unwillingly. Like that is gross.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's what it could be, you know.
yeah, that would be crazy. They if they do that, bro, they really going there. Like,
I mean, they have a bait. Like, this is one of the reasons why I think this is a horror show, because it could so easily have been a fantasy show and been less gory. But I think the plot, specifically the plot, requires it to be horror because of the level of gore that they need to show. And I think it's actually relevant to the plot. I think the guts that the monsters take are actually super important. I think that they actually use them in some sort of like ritualistic way to stop to keep something trapped, basically, to stop the sun from coming up. So to stop Bigfoot from escaping, or to stop Thomas from waking up, or something. They use the guts somehow. So it'd be very interesting to see what that is.
okay. Um,
But that's all I wanted to show you, man. It was that specifically because I thought you'd find it interesting.
okay. I wanted to show Karma Serene something real quick. She said that it couldn't be hoodoo because none of the monsters are black.
One is
Yeah, I'm gonna show it to her. It's from Colony House, the Colony House monster. I have a picture of her right here. Let's see. This one right here.
yeah. Do you know why I think there's so few black monsters real?
Why?
Because the monsters are basing their appearance on 1960s black and white and just at the beginning of color television sitcom characters. And at that time period, during that racist time period, they had very few depictions of black people
On
on these
TV.
sitcoms. They
Right.
were
I
always
agree with you
disposable characters.
100%.
It was
That's why we
disposable.
see that's why we see the televisions down in the tunnels as well. This is
Oh,
why we see those playing toys from that time period as well. I agree with you 100% on that.
so we'll see about that. I'm pretty sure that's why they're in shades of gray. It's why they're like stereotypes of those sitcom eras. You got the librarian, you got the milkman. I mean, milkmen, by the way, guys, if they were a trope of sitcoms, did you know that? Like, milkmen did not make up a huge part of the fabric of people's lives in the 1960s. It was just a trope because they pop in, they pop out, they're comic relief. There's like milkman jokes about the milkman, sleeping with the milkman. They would come in and out of the show, but they were a trope of 1960s sitcom characters. And it's interesting because I believe that Cape Race Lighthouse, it had a radio station until 1965, and then the radio station was decommissioned. And didn't we see a television set in the caves with the monsters? So imagine if during that time, while Victor was running around upstairs over those 40 years, they were no, even before that, sorry. So maybe they've been basing their appearance on television characters, and now it's frozen because they don't have TV anymore. Maybe that's it. We'll see. But yeah, real. Someone said that the episode titles are available if you just Google them. So from season 3 titles. Is it on Wikipedia? Oh, is it on Wikipedia? Let's have a
If
look.
it's on Wikipedia, that's wild.
Why would it be on Wikipedia, not IMDb? Someone needs
All
to
of
give us
all
a
of
link.
the all of your clues come from Wikipedia.
Yeah, well, that's true, but it's not on Wikipedia, by the way. So can someone post a link in the chat, because googling it isn't coming up for us. Yeah. Oh, thank you, GS Green. I'm glad that like I can own the eclipse theory a little bit, but I actually think people would have come up with it on their own before long, to be honest. But
No,
as soon as I thought it, I was like, Reddit, I got to post it on Reddit so I can claim this. But people, I mean, I brought up an eclipse years ago when season 1 came out, when I saw that, and I was like, oh, this all ends in an eclipse, and then I forgot about it, to be perfectly honest. And a sundown town, I do think sundown towns are a clue on the show. I wonder though if it's part of like the history of Fromland rather than what it currently is. Like I feel like some of the characters came from an event that happened in a sundown town potentially.
Okay.
Like Fort Pillow massacre, basically, like a sundown town horrible event, basically. I that's how I see it. But I agree with you, Karma. I do agree that that's something that might happen.
I did a video back in August last year called "The Curse Was in Front of Us the Whole Time." And I
Mm-hmm.
talked about how just the town itself is very symbolic of a sundown town. Like, you can't come out after dark. If you come out,
Mm-hmm.
you're risking your life. People are pretty much in the town sharecropping, growing their own food, hunting, setting traps.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also, just the aspects of the town itself are like a sundown town.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Even more, it's almost like a slave plantation, and certain levels of energy are being harvested from them.
Oh yeah, I believe Colony House is a real colonial house from history.
Right. Colony House even is reminiscent of when you're talking about colonialism,
Yeah.
the
Yep.
even the colony of spiders,
Mm-hmm.
even
Mm-hmm.
the 13 colonies.
Yep.
So Colony House definitely points to that. I brought this up a bunch of times about Benjamin Franklin in the post office, Boyd with the bell, all of that right there. You were on that as well. We both noticed those things.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think you might have mentioned that before we linked up, and so did I. Like,
I think we'd befriended each other already. And I remember you telling me about Ben Franklin and being like, yes, yes, Ben Franklin. But you turned me on to something super interesting, which was that Ben Franklin used a key to conduct the electricity in the kite experiment, didn't you?
right, yes, and Boyd
I
has
had
the whole
no
key.
idea about that, and I thought that was super interesting.
Yes, and that is Boyd's boat key. He has the bell. And George, I meant not George, but Ben Franklin was very prominent in Philadelphia when the Liberty Bell was commissioned. Then you have his son named Ellis, and
Hmm.
Boyd
Hmm.
carries that torch. There's so many different clues. Now, that's here we are. This is what I was saying about your theory. I
Mm.
think that your theory will play out in those clues in that esoteric way. The same exact thing happened to me with the Westworld show, where I had all these thoughts about where they were going with the show based on what they were showing us. And then in season 3, they totally flipped it upside down and pretty much destroyed the show. They were falling off at the end by the end of season 2 already, but they really flipped it. And yeah, I think they're going to do the same thing and just leave all of the clues super esoteric. And I've said this before, in hindsight, people will go back and watch our theories and be like, these dudes were showing us the hidden meaning of "from" the entire time.
I hope so. I think it's going to be more literal. That's just my opinion, but we disagree on that, and that's cool.
Right.
By the way, Will, people have found the episodes, and it's in the chat. Do you want to bring it up?
Uh-oh. Where is it at?
It's someone just posted it.
Okay. Is this it? When We Go, Mousetrap, There and Back Again,
Mousetrap has got to be the F. Ooh,
The Light of Day.
dude,
Yeah.
Eclipse episode
The
4,
Eclipse,
Eclipse.
episode 4. Yes, indeed. Scar Tissue. Okay. Ooh, scar tissue is what they make a reference to scar tissue after a woman has a baby. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, guys, in the chat. If women know, like, they tell you
Dude,
about like scar tissue.
that's it. It's gonna be. You know what? Remember how everyone heals super quickly? Do you think that Fatima's gonna heal super suspiciously quickly? And Golden Child, I see you saying that's why I asked you that question. Thank you for pointing that out. We would not be looking at this
We would
without
not
you.
be looking at this right now. And thank you, Debbie, Yebby, Bo Bebby, Banana Fana, Fo Febby, Fee Fi Mo Mebby. Debbie found the titles for. Shout out to Debbie Ebby Bo Bebby. Yo, that's fire. Hey, yo, check this out. Episode 7, Thresholds. I literally used the word threshold in my last video, and I guarantee you, they're talking about these people discussing whether they're gonna eat something or not. Okay. And that's what they're talking about. I literally used the word thresholds in the video. Go look at the video and tell me, did I not say that? I said that our our residents might be forced to decide whether they want to try cannibalism or, but I don't think they are going to cross that threshold. I literally said that.
Do you
Okay.
think they're going to contemplate eating Christie's leg after it needs to be amputated?
I don't know. I think they're gonna contemplate. I think I think they're gonna be looking at all them rib plates out there in the yard, and they're gonna be like, "Man, I sure would like to throw one of these ribs on the grill."
So 8 is when they time travel, man. Revelations. There's a thank you randomly in there because I think Debbie was typing thank you in there. But it's
Revelations.
episode 8 is called Revelations. So that is thresholds is when they go into the tree. Revelations is when they meet the historical figures, meet the hoodoo stuff. Revelations. What's going to be Revelations? I have no idea. What is going to be in Revelations?
Revelations is a 2-part. They
Oh,
got
that's Eloise. That's when Eloise. That's when Tabitha. Sorry, I interrupted you. That's when Tabitha finds out that Eloise is her mom. Revelations. That's a big reveal.
That's heavy, bro. I mean, yo, listen. Dude's question was spot on. Yo, what? Who was that answered the question originally? Golden Child. Golden Child's question was on point because he asked pretty much, these new titles, do they have anything to do with the theory, and do they shed light on the theories? For Taran, yeah, I think for a couple of mine as well.
Theory. It doesn't change my theory. Everything's in the correct order. I'm disappointed a little bit that the revelation of Eloise and Tabitha is only coming in episode 9. That means we only have an untitled episode 10. Clearly, the title was too much of a reveal, and they've decided not to release that yet. So that's interesting.
But we don't know how reliable this is either. But still, I mean, how would it be wrong? Like with the names of it, it's probably real. It sounds real.
Debbie, did you add the spider, ghost, and star emojis?
That would be crazy if she didn't. I'm going to flip if she didn't.
Because
that's in our emojis. Follow the Discord. We got a room in there for the emojis and everything that all of the actors are sharing on their social media profile.
Tabitha is the worst for it. She does it so often. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're leaving clues in their chat emojis.
So she helped me solve a mystery on the show. She was sharing whirlwind or twister emojis. I noticed.
Okay,
Twice.
so Mato says to explain how Tabitha and Eloise are related according to Taran's theory. He pretty much thinks that Eloise is Tabitha's mother. And it's a very great theory. It's a very great theory. I feel like I'm only like 30% with it. 70% of me is saying no. But what he's saying sounds it was so much like my theory, because I think that Eloise is also my theory before the trailers and all of that came out, that Eloise was going to be an artist on the outside. Taran had the same theory that Eloise was going to be an artist on the outside.
Or an art historian, art lecturer. I think she
Or
might be
art lecturer or art historian, sort, or have some sort of profession with art. We both thought that. His reasoning for thinking that and bringing that to the table kind of leads to his theory about Tabitha being her young daughter. So that's the only place where our theories fork at right there. I think that they may be related in some way, but I don't think that it's I think that okay, so I don't have much on this yet, guys, but I'm gonna give it to you anyway. In the
Hmm.
hallway with in the hallway with Victor's father, there's a picture. There's the 5 pictures surrounding the gold one of Eloise. Um, but there's another picture of this picture right here. I'm trying to zoom in on you. Okay, so this picture right here with the biggest frame, with the thickest frame,
Mm.
that's of 2 women.
Oh.
Okay, and so I think that
Mm.
maybe she is that one of them is Tabitha's mother.
Uh. I don't know, man. I'm pretty certain I've got the Tabitha Eloise thing all tied up. To be honest, there's like so many Chekhov's guns that they've left on the show that point to this.
Mhm,
Um, I actually think that John Griffin wanted to include every type. There's 4 types of paradox. There's 4 types of time paradox, right? One of
mhm.
them is the bootstrap paradox. They're clearly signaling that. I mean, anyone who doesn't think that, I'm sorry, you're just ignoring the evidence at this point. Like they make the bracelet made from Tabitha's dad's bootlaces. I mean, Jim's dad's bootlaces, right? Like that's so pointed. And then we see the bracelet on Miranda's wrist. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's not the bracelet." It just is. It is. It's I've looked at it. It's the same design. They wouldn't do that accidentally. They zoom in on the hand so that you can see the bracelet. Like it's just obvious that they're showing that there's some sort of time travel. They've given you a timeline for the bracelet. They literally tell you when it was lost. They tell you when it was made. They give you so much information about this bracelet as clues to solve how does the bracelet end up on Miranda's wrist, right? And how does the bracelet form a bootstrap paradox? And the only way a bootstrap paradox exists in time travel is if there's a causal loop where the original thing wouldn't have been created if it hadn't time traveled to be looked at later. So basically, Tabitha has to copy what that translates to is basically Tabitha has to copy the design of that bracelet from somewhere, right? She has to copy it from somewhere because another bracelet that she sees it's like it's basically like you're a scientist in a university, and then suddenly you appear with a time travel machine and from the future, and you're like, hey, here's the design to design a time travel machine. Now you can be a time traveler. But it's like but it also says that you would never have discovered this time travel if you hadn't received the time travel machine design. So it's basically like, how can you have created a time travel machine to time travel back in time to give yourself the time travel designs in the first place? So it's a bit like that. How can Tabitha be copying her own bracelet if the if she if it's like a loop? I'm explaining it very badly, but I hope
Okay, so no, all right, so all right, I'm gonna back up for just a second here.
sure, sure.
Me, my reasoning for not believing Eloise being the mother of Tabitha is due to Victor. That would make Victor old enough to be Tabitha's father, which I just can't see that. Because if Eloise is old enough to be her mother, then surely her older brother is old enough to be the father. And I
So,
just
so
and I just can't see,
for this
I,
theory
you
to
know,
work, she would have had to have got pregnant as a teenager.
okay. And she could and okay, so now if your
But she
theory's right
runs away
about
pregnant.
right,
She
she
runs away
runs
pregnant.
away and she's like a teenage runaway that ends up pregnant. I can
Yes,
rock with that. That
and she
now
marries a Colombian.
if she starts to if we find out that she ran away and all of that right there, like you said, yeah, that makes it very possible. It actually makes it likely because what's gonna, how she's running away and she's probably messing with a boy. or that believes her and is there for her or whatever in that situation. Like all of these different aspects about it ring true to your theory. But, it's still for me, it just some people didn't believe that this guy was Victor's father. And I just don't see Victor. Does Victor look old enough to be Tabitha's father?
I think so.
Ah,
If it was a teenage pregnancy, absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's pregnancy themes on this show, man. Fatima's pregnant. There's literally a drawing of a pregnant woman holding a teacup um in the wedding scene behind Fatima, and it's showed in other scenes as well. Pregnancy is a theme, babies are a theme. I think, and remember, bloodlines are a theme reel. You believe, just like I do, that the people on this show are part of a cursed bloodline.
Right. That's where we come together. We come together that they're part of a cursed bloodline.
So, wouldn't it be an amazing way of revealing that by having Eloise be Tabitha's mom, and having Tabitha figure out that all the families in Fromland were
Tabitha
found
fits the
mysteriously?
Tabitha fits the phenotype of Victor. I can give you that. The phenotype is there. The phenotype is there. Victor, Eloise, Tabitha, and Victor's mom.
And doesn't Victor have a special relationship with the Matthews family?
Yes. In
So wouldn't it
multiple
be an
ways.
amazing reveal if it's like, look at that, it's actually Ethan hanging out with his great uncle, you know? Tabitha hanging out with Henry is actually Tabitha unknowingly hanging out with her grandfather. Like, wouldn't that be an amazing reveal? Her and Henry are traveling around America, visiting the families of people who have gone
Okay,
missing.
so that goes to my point about what I was saying about does my theory sound interesting? And yes, you all right, so now, bro, I'll go from 30%, I'll go to 45%.
Okay.
I'll
Well,
go
I
from
I'll
30%
get
to
you there.
45%. Because for sure that would be interesting. And Tabitha, Tabitha is all right. She went to Father Kotri, then she went to this priest out here, Father, whatever his name is, and then she goes to Victor's father. And so, yeah, that would kind of fit. I can give you that, bro. Like, this is the thing about the theories. We're all just having fun, right? And
Mhm.
so um it's not hard to just say like, yeah, I could see that. I could see what you're saying. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna sit here and call somebody crazy when they're putting time into it to look for something. You know what I mean? Now the ones that get called crazy are the ones that call the others crazy. You see what I'm saying? Like these are definite clues. All of these things will fit together with the model of good storytelling to Taryn. So
Well,
yeah,
let me ask you something. Why do you think in the first episode of From, Jim and Tabitha discuss how they thought that Tabitha's mom wouldn't like Jim, and then surprisingly she does? Why do you
right.
think that discussion happens? Because it's a Chekhov's gun, right? It's an inane conversation, doesn't tell us anything about the show, and John Griffin has spent literal decades working on this pilot. You think he'd have a random little aside like that for no reason?
No,
People.
even I'll do you one better when
Mhm,
Fatima was listening to Julie tell her Julie was making a list of things she would do when she got home.
mhm.
And one of the things on Julie's list was to go see her grandparents. And she was obviously talking about Tabitha's parents because we find out later that Jim's father is passed away
Yeah, I think in a twister,
in a twister.
which is why they never recovered his body.
So how do you know they never recovered his body? Where did you get that part from?
Because well, in my theory, in order for Jim's dad to have driven the bracelet back into Fromland in that car that they discuss again in the opening episode, they tell you its make, they tell you its model, they tell you its brakes don't work, they tell you the side door doesn't open, they describe it as a death trap, they describe it as a champ. Like, why all this information about a car that we haven't seen for 2 whole seasons? It's clearly going to show up in season 3 in some way. We haven't seen it in Fromland. We've explored the car graveyard twice, and we haven't seen it. I've looked. So it has to form part of this big
I could
reveal.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? For
Mhm.
for that, okay, so all right, all right, so that falls into speculation. Just flat out. That's a speculation, right?
Okay.
All right, no. No, seriously. That's speculation, right? Because but at the same time, I could see the reason why I look at that is more speculation than anything. Wow, we have 140 people in here and only 60
Mm,
likes. Yo, smash that like button. Maybe you forgot when you came in, but smash that
mm.
like button. Let's get this out there. We got 140 people in here. That's pretty dope. That's
Hey,
a record high for my channel. I think
real
that's real
imagine if
dope.
all the actors are watching this channel.
Yo, that would be crazy.
Because
But
Ricky says he likes to his favorite part of when a new season comes out is watching the stuff on YouTube about it.
ooh, wow. Okay.
And he says he frequents Reddit as well, and that he has some theories he thinks are really good. So think about this, real. This is something
Well, let me
interesting.
say this real quick before I forget it.
Mhm. Go
So
for it.
all right, so while they're having the discussion about the death trap car and going to see
Yeah.
the parents and all of that, right? I think that after they brought up the death trap car, Tabitha would have said, "Your father even drove that car at at the hospital when I gave birth to Julie." You know what I'm saying? I think that that tidbit would have, if that tidbit would have been added in there, that would have given it some credence. But
But then
without that,
it would reveal too much.
it wouldn't reveal pretty much anything.
The
That he
whole
drove the
point.
car away?
Yeah, look, they raise the car and they're asking theorists to figure out how the car factors in to the story.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. That's speculation. So yours
Yeah, you have to speculate.
to say that Jim's father drove Jim's car away is speculative.
It is no, I'm not disagreeing with you, man.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just yeah, yeah. Like you're speculating. It's theory. Everything is
Right,
speculation.
true indeed.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
Okay,
it's
so
all
this
it.
is what I think what I'm my point
Mm,
is I
mhm.
think my point is that um I do agree that the car is a Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
I do agree that the grandparents are a Chekhov's gun. I believe all the grandparents are Chekhov's gun. The
Right.
first monster was a grandparent disguised as a grandparent or
Yes.
masquerading as someone's grandparent. Elgin
Absolutely.
Elgin sitting in church talking about how he used to go to church with his grandmom and they used to sit there and do crochet owls. Like Tilly's a grandmother.
Mhm.
Abby, being that Fatima's pregnant with Ellis' baby, is a to be grandmother. Like, yeah, I'm definitely there with those being Chekhov's guns.
Think
Um,
about Lost, right? You've seen a bit of Lost. How many
yes,
grandparents have they mentioned in Lost?
I don't.
Oh,
I've
Locke,
only
tell me about your grandma, Locke. It just does there's nothing about
I'm
grandparents.
in the first season and I had to stop watching it because I'm writing so much. I got so much going on. I had to stop watching it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure.
You
Okay.
know what I mean? But I definitely want to check. I noticed within the first two episodes that they had too many similarities with From automatically. It's almost like From picked shit from the first couple episodes of Lost. And from my understanding, people are telling me that it gets deeper and deeper and the connections are pretty much endless with From. Um, that's crazy. That I think that's real crazy. I think that's actually dope. That's a great way to bring that Lost fan base back as well
Mhm, mhm,
to another show, a new show, and do it again, do it better, do it more, do it, put
mhm.
a little bit more effort into it this time. As far as writing a full out, they have a plan with this. The way, let's say that they are writing is as they go along. It's already planned out if you're going along with history. You can just continue to build off of that right there, that framework. So I believe that this show is definitely talking about history, and they will never run out of source material. They're already mentioning things about the Jim Crow era. A lot of people, for those of you who don't believe my theory about the Jim Crow era being mentioned on this show, what would it take? What would you have to see for that to be a reality? This right here says it all. The Grand Gulagog
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the Gollywog. This is a Gollywog, and this is the book called the Grand Gulagog. This
Oh
is a
yeah, it's a direct reference, man.
it's a
Direct.
direct reference. I
Yeah.
mean, what else could we say here? Like
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, when I saw Goolygog, I thought the word gollywog. I know because I had to learn in school we had to learn about that word in school. You know, but I didn't think about it the way you did because I didn't think about it as a Jim Crow thing. You know, I didn't know about the history of Jim Crow very closely like you do. You know,
well,
so I you know, if I'm making the connection when I saw it and then you are and explaining it, come on. It's got to be
I mean that reference is just like undeniable. Then you have
undeniable.
the fact that that is a character from the Jim Crow era.
Mhm.
Those books were written during the Jim Crow times,
Yeah.
and they became kind of popular. You know what I mean? And they talked about that. I also the Jade and the Roots connection. I had that connection in my mind before they dropped the last episode, the season finale, when
Mhm.
Jade saw the Roots. And I'm today I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass for not putting those thoughts out. And like you told me the other day, you was like, yo, when you have those thoughts, you put them out there because then something else could happen in the show that totally validates what your thought was. So like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna practice now.
You
I
got to
try
put
to
all your theories out there, man, so that people otherwise you're just going to be like, "I knew that." And then you'll be like, "So like, yeah, I believe you." You know, you got to put it all. That's why I loved your 10-minute video where you just laid out all your predictions for season 3 because ultimately some of the stuff that you predict will happen later may happen in season 3, but at least you got the stuff that you thought will happen in season 3 out there, you know?
what jumped out to you from this video that I just put out?
I mean, I thought that some of the stuff you said was quite like natural plot wise, you know, like Ethan and Julie being sad about Tabitha going. You know, though, yeah. I mean, I think that.
I tightened it up a little bit by saying that that's
Uh-huh.
why you see Victor is trying to really remember shit because they not I don't think Ethan's gonna be like really fucking with Victor like that. I mean, shit, you were there when my mom disappeared, and now you ain't really got no answers for me. Same with
Yeah,
Julie, and I think that that is what sparks that whole conversation with him and
I
Sarah because he's like, "Who
I
else do I
agree.
talk to?" You know
I
what I'm
agree. I
saying?
agree with you. I think it's absolutely that's 100% what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. So, like, what else?
Absolutely.
What about Okay, so
Throw some
debunk
more out because I can't remember off the top of like throw some more like predictions that you made out.
the crystal ball prediction,
I mean,
and
I agree. I don't think season 3, I think season 4. I think that John Dee's crystal ball is an important artifact on the show.
okay, and so the cabins and Jim being told to go west. That's a
I
specific.
Where's that coming from specifically?
I said that he's going to be told to go west in the direction that the sun sets, and he's going there with someone who came from the west,
Uh,
Fuhan.
um, what? Why do you think that?
I think that whoever was on the radio and who was ever on the phone with Kenny is the
Hmm.
same person that Jim is going to actually talk to. I don't think they're going to have somebody answer the phone in a dream again. They already did that with Kenny. I think that they're going to have Jim answer the phone in reality and they're going to tell him, yo, travel west. And that's how you're going to do this or whatever. And
You just gave me a great idea. You just gave me
okay,
a great idea.
okay, so he's gonna he's gonna tell him to travel west. I want to hear this idea too.
No,
And
okay, yeah. Where's the west coming from though, specifically?
the direction of the sun. That's
And
the only. That's the. If I was in Frumlin, I'd already be thinking astronomy and shit. They say they can't see the stars and stuff, so they can't map out where they are. But the only thing that you can definitely know is that that sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So you know the directions. Now, I was gonna do a video about this, but I'll give you a little sneak peek. When you look at where Boyd is coming from, he's all the way down there, um, coming from the edge of the road when he's coming with the talisman. The talismans from the edge of the road is the direction that he was walking in his vision where he was ringing the bell to an empty town. So this indicates that that direction where he found the talismans were in the east, where the sun is rising from.
okay, that's a
Yeah,
good theory.
yeah.
I don't hate it, man. May I also highlight that it's west something, uh, west full for the school sign, right? Isn't like
Mhm.
one option celestial, high school and elementary, but another one is West Falls, isn't it?
Ooh. See, and I wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah, that was the other option for what that the missing
West,
letters
yeah, where
must
West
say.
is coming from. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, a little bit of that's a little bit of Wheel of Fortune for you right there.
Mhm, mhm. Well,
Okay.
I have a theory now that you've given me that I've literally just written it into my master theory that I'm gonna be posting before season 3 comes out.
Mhm.
Um, and that is, you know how in the description of season 3, they say escape is a real possibility now? Like, with it basically says that the town knows that Tabitha escaped somehow, is what the description said, if I'm remembering correctly. Um, so I wonder if you know how the voice the last time it spoke to Jim, it told him about what his wife was up to?
Mhm.
Maybe the voice is gonna do the exact same thing and say, "Your wife has escaped," and hangs up. And then they're like, "Oh my god, she escaped? So now that means that you can escape here. So maybe we should go through the bottle tree. But this time we're not gonna leave, we're gonna come back." Uh, it's interesting. That's in my theory now, so we'll see if that's what he's doing. But I think that that's a real possibility.
Okay, run that back again.
Okay, so in the description of season 3 for some of these blogs, I believe it says something about escape being a possibility now. And there's no way they would know that Tabitha escaped, you know? Like, even we didn't know that Tabitha escaped, until the trailer came out. So how are they supposed to know? So I wonder whether the phone call tells him that his wife has escaped, just like last time it told him his wife was digging a hole. So maybe that's what I think the telephone call is gonna say, actually.
Yeah.
I need to look up this description to see if I'm misremembering it, but I'm pretty sure I remember reading it and being like, "How do they know she escaped?"
Now,
Uh,
just to finish from what that goes, I think that he's got information, and I'm not mad at that theory as well. That he will be told that his wife left and got out. That would be a fire. That would be a fire clue right there. But I also think that he
Here
will
we go.
go.
Sorry to interrupt. Here it is. In the wake of season 2's epic cliffhanger,
Mhm.
escape will become a tantalizing and very real possibility as the true nature of the town comes into focus. So, how do they know that Tabitha escaped? How would it seem like a possibility? And why
Right.
is
How
it
would it
tantalizing?
seem like a real possibility unless they have the information that it
Yes.
happened?
And the
Now, there's
only
three
one who would
ways that it could happen. There's three
Mhm.
ways that that could happen.
Go for it.
It could be you said the phone call could be the
Yeah.
way that that happened.
Yeah.
Or let's just say Victor says it and they just believe him. That could be a reason, but that's less likely, right?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
Victor still doesn't even can't give them any more information. That's why he's trying to remember what's missing, right? So he can't really give them information like where did she go? You know what I'm saying? Why the
Yeah.
fuck can't we all just go where she went? Like what's going on? So okay, then you have the third option is that Julie, she makes contact with Julie, and that's in my theory. So I'm not
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the former and the latter are both okay with me. Her Jim getting that information via the telephone, or Julie making contact with her mom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Her mom, we've seen only a few phones, right? Whose phone? No, we seen Kelly's phone, but it wasn't in reference to an actual phone. It was the alarm going off on her phone. But the only person that really referenced the phone was Julie. When
That's
she
true.
was in the RV saying, "Can we get to some place that has civilization?" What you send me?
I just wanted to show you another answer from Ricky that I wanted to show you. I forgot about it.
Or okay, I'm here.
Uh, it was about. Keep scrolling. I think. Sorry, I thought I'd sent you the link. I thought I sent you the link directly to the thing. Did you? Did you click?
Is
There
this
it
it?
is. Yeah, this is it. So read that central paragraph out, man.
I've been saying
You
that
might-
it feels like we're building out a puzzle without a box or photo to reference. Season 1 was organizing all the pieces by color and finding the corners. Season 2 was about building the frames and edges. And now finally season 3 building towards the middle. So we're finally starting to slowly make out what the puzzle is even, but only John Griffin knows. I was such a fan of Dune 2, and I feel like Dune 2 made the first movie so
Oh,
much
that's
better.
separate. Yeah, that's not
Oh,
really.
okay, just that part there. Okay.
Yeah. And there's another thing he says about now he thinks he knows how the show ends based on season 3, which is kind of interesting.
Damn, Ricky, he is dropping it like that in the Reddit?
Okay, here's what he said. I'm going to read it out to you. I don't know how the story ends, but now that we've finished filming season 3, I'm starting to have a very loose idea of how it might end. Now, if somebody who's been theorizing on Reddit gets everything they've predicted correct, and then he sees that happening as they're filming season 3, would he not potentially think, now I have a loose idea of how it might end, because if this person's right about that, they might be right about more things. That's just my own personal theory. But we'll see. I know that sounds super arrogant, but I do have a strong feeling some of the things I've predicted are going to be correct. Anyway, so that is interesting, isn't it? That he thinks season 3 tells you about how it might end. So I think it's going to confirm the historical side of things and the time travel side of things. So he's going to know that this is a curse that starts within history. And I think we'll know that as well, that it's a curse that affected people at some time historically. And if I'm right about historical figures that appear in season 3, then he's going to assume that my John Cabot theory is correct as well. So he probably knows that it's going to be a John Cabot origin story. But it actually goes far. It actually goes back all the way to the Garden of Eden, and I think we'll know the entire origin story of like how the curse was created in season 5. Season 6 is when we learn the origin story of like the monsters.
Okay, I think that we're gonna learn a little bit about that this season.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
so too.
right. Um, I think that Jade is going that's gonna be revealed to Jade.
Uh-huh.
That's gonna
Uh-huh.
be revealed to Jade. I think that Jade is gonna have more visions than he had before. Because I don't think that they would show us Jade's only vision in the trailer. You know what I'm saying? Especially his vision was so strange with the dude standing there drinking from the
Yeah.
skull and all of that. Like, I
There's gonna
think
be
that
more visions.
there's definitely
Definitely
going to
more
be
visions.
more visions for sure.
Elgin's gonna see one because of that horrified look he has on his face. And here's the other interesting thing. I think that the visions are going to be some of the historical figures that I've predicted. So I'm gonna make a prediction to you right now, Real.
Hmm.
In fact, I'm gonna write this into my theory. See, this is why talking with you brings out the best in my theory crafting side, because I've come up with two things just in this conversation alone while talking with you.
And by the way, if you guys like the content and you're enjoying the build between Taran and I, go ahead and do what Kiwi Skirt says right there. And if you love it, go ahead and support the channel via Cash App. It's going towards a documentary about Newfoundland and the TV show From that Taran and I are working on. I've already started writing some things that I'm going to say in the voiceover that I think will, be good that I can just insert in there after I have the meat. Just trying to make a little bit of
Mhm.
framework for the documentary and how I'm gonna approach it.
Real, if I may say, I am very appreciative of the fact that you're coming to Newfoundland with me, even though Newfoundland doesn't form a large part of your theory currently.
Mm-mm.
And
However, How, but we need to add nuance to that. You know what I mean? Because that's what somebody asked me last week. It was like, well, that's not your theory, so why are you going there? And I said, because I believe that he's spot on. I don't need to put it into my theory. He's already come with it, right? And I believe that he's spot on with the origin having to do with what happened in Newfoundland in the early stages of what we call today as the Americas or the North American Union, which is
Mhm.
Mexico, Canada, and America.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Real. Well, I want to tell you something. If I drag you all the way to Newfoundland, and Newfoundland has nothing to do with the show whatsoever. We see the finale, show's over, and there's nothing to do with Newfoundland. I will give you $1,000.
Oh shit.
I will send you $1,000 because I would have wasted a lot of your time. I mean, you'll have a great time, right? But you want to be there about From. You're going to make a whole documentary about it. About our trip at least. If I'm wrong, I want to compensate you for that.
Oh
Um,
no. Okay. So here's what this is, right? Either way, the whole come from away situation is
mhm,
definitely worth documenting.
yeah,
And bringing the bail talk information is definitely worth documenting. That's actually valuable, very valuable information that is scarce on the internet about the bail talk people. And if
yeah.
we can bring that to the world, that would be a great thing.
I
You
agree
see?
because the bear talk it actually upsets me sometimes. Having read about them so intensively. How little they form part of the American consciousness. You know, like had you ever known about the bear talk? And this is obviously not. I'm not blaming you, Real, for not knowing about them. I'm just explaining how like little importance like history has given them. Which is
I
why you
mean,
need to know about them. Did you know about them specifically? Like, if somebody said, "Do you know who the bear talk are?" Would you have known who they were? I
yeah,
didn't.
I knew who they were, but
Wow,
I didn't
that's
know
impressive.
much. I didn't know much. You knew more than I knew. I didn't know
Mhm.
much. I just thought the name was cool when I was researching Native Americans long ago.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
Long ago. Like here, if you really want to do some research, just go look up the number of Native American tribes that there are all across, like
Mhm.
Canada, the United States, and even down in Mexico. You can go way far back. So yeah, but I didn't know any of the stuff about like John Cabot and all of that.
And the
Like,
Vikings, the bear talk were the first people that any Europeans encountered.
okay,
Either that,
so
either that, or the Micmac. Nobody really knows what indigenous peoples the
I
Vikings
was just
interacted
about
with.
to say that. Okay, so in my
Yeah.
research, I learned that it was the Micmac.
Well, so the bear talk, they actually only colonized Newfoundland not long before the 1500s, but they may well have been on the coastline previously, and I believe the Micmac came slightly later than the bear talk. So I don't think Newfoundland even had any humans on it necessarily when the I may be getting the history wrong. So, I'm not a professional historian, guys. I misremember things. Please don't be upset if I accidentally get something wrong. I don't claim to be perfect. I don't claim that everything I'm saying is gospel. But in general, I believe that actually Newfoundland wasn't even colonized at all. The Vikings may have been the first there. The Inuit would have been there first, actually. Now that I think about it, they were because they were everywhere. They were in Greenland, of course. They were in Newfoundland. So yeah, maybe the Inuit were first. Now that I think about it. Huh. But yeah, okay. That's interesting. Sorry, I'm just thinking aloud here.
No,
Uh,
no, not at all. I totally get it.
yeah. But we should go to this Bear Talk Center. I genuinely believe that we'll be walking in the footsteps of John Griffin.
I was
And
just now posting the link in there for people that want to come up and talk with us.
oh yeah, because I probably need to drop off soon. So someone else can take over keep the conversation flowing. But yeah, sorry, I forgot to tell you what my prediction was that came as a result of us talking about Elgin having more visions, seeing new people. I think we're gonna see a clown, a creepy ass clown.
I do too. That's one of my theories that I didn't put in
Uh-huh.
my video. However, I did put this is a very specific theory of a song that I believe that's going to be used in there by Steelers Will.
Yeah, yeah. Does
Stuck
that
in
have a
the
clown in
middle.
it? That
Yes,
has a
and it
clown?
says clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right.
Yeah, yeah. So I agree. Yeah, clowns.
So we have jokers and we have clowns. So we already have jokers and we already have been hinted at
Well,
cards.
the fool card is a joker.
Right, exactly. The fool card is a joker and Boyd is the fool card.
Now, real, may I make a secondary prediction because I wanna prove something to you.
Yeah.
If the clown appears and the clown is dressed like a hobo, will you believe me when I tell you that it's a specific clown from history, a named real clown, if he looks like a hobo?
Uh I'll be like, yo, you saw that one coming. No, I will believe you for sure. I'll
Okay, cool.
believe you.
Because
Yeah,
I think
especially depending on the circa clown. You know what I mean? Like depending on what time period that clown is going to be from will tell you a lot about its attire. Because
so. It'll be
most clowns back then just used to dress like men, just like how men dress. And later on, I'd say and you're talking like 1930s era, right?
yeah, 1931.
Okay. Yeah. That's around the
I
Great
just
Depression time as well.
Yeah, it's so the 1930s timeline is gonna be like actors, singers, and celebrities from that era, like Frank Sinatra, Adele Astaire, and then it's gonna be a whole bunch of gangsters, like mafiosos, like Lucky Luciano and The Brain, and a whole bunch of like famous criminals from that era.
Yo,
So
have you ever heard the story of Sammy Davis Jr.? Because Sammy Davis was part of the Rat Pack with Frank Sinatra and all them cats.
you know that Sammy Davis Jr. Acted in several films filmed at one of my family's properties that we
Yeah.
own.
What? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's a hotel called the Elvetham. It's like a castle in Hampshire that I spent like most of COVID renovating and like restoring. And yeah, in fact, there's another connection to From that my because I do believe that he's one of the people in the
Who?
chain of
Who?
artifacts. I actually
Sammy Davis?
Yeah, he's in my chain of artifacts.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, okay. So
yeah,
did you ever hear the story about his eye falling out?
yeah, I heard about that. That's one of the reasons why I put him in my chain, basically.
Okay, yeah. So there's a lot of one eye symbolism in there. There's a
Yeah, yeah.
video somewhere. I remember seeing a video when I was a kid. Oh, we got Scarlet Fever in. She's coming in. Who else has come up? We could fit 10 people up here. If y'all want to come up and join, we can have a nice little powwow. No pun intended. But Sammy Davis, there's a video of Sammy Davis Jr. pretty much detailing the whole event where his eye pretty much just like falls out his head right into his hand.
Oh my god,
And he
that's
talks
terrible.
about how it happens and everything. I don't know if anybody saw that video, put the link in the chat so that
Oh,
people will go
they're
check that out.
asking they're asking for you to pin the StreamYard link.
Pin the StreamYard link.
Yeah.
Here, I'll post it again real quick.
Uh, there's a way of pinning it. I don't know how you do it. Um, but yeah, so yeah, Weary Willie, Emmett Kelly, the hobo clown. I believe that Elgin will see Weary Willie the Hobo Clown. Before, in fact, I think we'll see Weary Willie in like the first 3 episodes of the show. So if I'm right, if I get that right, uh, Caroline Dye is coming. That's all I can say.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's my point, right? Like if you see a hobo clown, and I've predicted that it's specifically going to be a hobo clown because the clues that have led me to Emmett Kelly, um, would you then believe that I'm correct about the clues leading me to all these other historical figures?
Yes, indeed. I told you that. I'm one
Yeah.
of those type of people that when I'm faced with information that is accurate and it's abstract or contrary to my own beliefs, I'm willing to change my beliefs. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um
that's what I love about theorizing with you, man.
yeah, I'm willing to change my beliefs because we didn't write this shit, right? We're just like telling you what we see in it. And I
Mhm.
just think that we're using our talents to analyze this show in a
Yeah.
way that a lot of other people haven't grasped the show in that way. A lot of people just saw like aliens, or some people were saying vampires, and some people were saying it's purgatory and all of that. But I think that we brought a new dynamic to the whole community that watches the show. And there's a lot of people still that are not even hip to us yet. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. But hey, I'm glad that we're here. We got the people in here. We got 100. I think we peaked at like 140 something people in here, y'all. Give yourselves a round of applause in the chat. I definitely didn't expect this. Scarlet Fever, what's going on with you?
Hey guys, what y'all up to? I mean, I like listening to you guys talk, so I'm here.
I'm
Yes.
about to leave, and thank you for joining. I appreciate you taking the reins here.
Oh
Um,
yeah, and no worries. Enigma. If you go to YouTube on the live stream and you go to your comment of the StreamYard link and you click on it, it should give you some options to pin it.
Right, I did that. That's what I did. I
Okay.
got that
Okay.
pimp up there. Yep.
Okay. I'm
I'll,
not on the YouTube, so I didn't know that you got it. My bad. Sorry.
uh, I'm
that's
I'm
right.
gonna see if I can pin another comment in there with both links to the Discord as well.
Yeah, I don't know if
So
it'll let you do two at one time. I haven't tried that.
hmm,
Maybe.
if I maybe like post them,
Maybe put them together, like, and then.
yeah, kind of, yeah, we'll see. I'll figure it out. We'll do it.
So before I leave, I just want to tell you one like weird sort of synchronicity between me and From. Um, my family, we own a building called the King's Wardrobe. It's a hotel in central London, and it used to be where the king kept all his jewels and his clothing and his valuables. And there were like literally people whose job it was to like categorize it, like keep it secure, keep it from getting damaged. And he would come and go, right? And on the show, I believe in the origin story of From, there's a character called Bridget of York, and Bridget of York is this princess from the York royal bloodline, and she actually ends up becoming a nun at a very young age, and she literally remains in that nunnery for her entire life. And when she was very, very young, basically there was like a coup against her family by her uncle, and they all had to hide in Westminster Abbey. And isn't it interesting that Abbey is a name on the show? And then she was sent to a nunnery to live out the rest of her days so no one could marry her and have a claim to the throne. She'd just be out of trouble. And what's interesting about Bridget of York is that she basically only went to one um, he only went to one she only went to one place in between those two locations, and it happens to be that building, the King's Wardrobe. So I just found it really cool that that like something that I'm part of the history of is also connected to who I think is the main character in the origin story of From, basically.
Yes, that is super dope right there. Like your family owning a hotel that's actually a part of your theory. You know what I'm saying about, them finding the king's wardrobe and whatnot. That is, and if that starts to happen, it's like, then people really gonna think like, yeah, he read the script when they came there to see scout for the spot. You know what I mean? they'll probably, really think that you saw the script or had like a leaked version of the script. And I think that'll only come from the haters though, that just won't want to admit that you were right the whole time. So they'll have to come up with some excuse like, nah, he wasn't right. He had the script. Like they just wouldn't want to admit it. Before you go though, Taran, Carrie wanted to ask you a couple of questions. I know she said she was gonna come on live while you were here, and so she's here now. What's going on, Carrie? How you?
Hey y'all. Hey Taryn. Hey Scarlett. Hey Real. Hey
Yeah.
Chat.
Hey, hun, how you doing?
Doing good. No, I was just saying I was gonna call before Taryn started because I knew it was gonna be a couple hours. But if I had a question for him, it would be um being that boy had to tell Donna about the ambush. I'm thinking the ambush is more just like in the town instead of the colony house. So do you think I'm pretty sure you think the whole town gonna be affected by the eclipse, right? So why would you think boy had to tell Donna that they was ambushed, or you think there was like another situation?
Mm.
Can you say that again? Sorry, my internet went a bit funny there. I apologize.
She's pretty much saying if an eclipse happens,
Yes.
then it would happen in the entire spot of Frumlin, right? It wouldn't just happen on the road where they're at. It would happen, and it would be dark in
Yeah.
Colony House.
The whole
Why would
place.
Yeah, why
whole
would Boyd have to explain that to Donna if she was able to see it as well?
Because maybe they didn't open the door.
Right?
And like maybe the monsters only wanted to get Fatima and everyone else managed to get back inside in time. I mean, they are walking, right? They have to surround you. So they had to ambush like an area with lots of them. So potentially their target wasn't Colony House. If they're after Fatima's baby, then they're going to concentrate all their forces over there. They're going to go after Ethan because obviously the boogeyman wants to get him. So, yeah.
Okay, and then another question. You said when we do see Bigfoot, is it gonna be like the original Bigfoot, or is it gonna be something that have like an essence of Bigfoot?
I think we'll see like something that genuinely looks like the real Bigfoot. I mean, look, it's slightly kooky theory. It's part of like a wider theory I have about archetypal monsters evolving over time. So that's sort of where I think that's headed. And I was like, what Northeast Canadian like monsters basically are still sort of believed in the modern day and like are more modern archetypes. And I realized that like I know for a fact that the boogeyman is currently in the form of bonhomme setters. Like I just know that personally. That's like something I think very strongly is going on. I know that the boy in white and the dog are Loop Guru. That's my other theory. Sorry, when I say I know, I mean like I'm very confident in this within my theories framework. And then I'm like, so, and I know that there's like there's like several other characters as well, several other gods there. One's a giant spider, one's a dragon, and then one's like the hag, the hag from Northeast Canadian mythology, and I'm like, there's one missing, and it's like a good, it's like the one that controls the crows. It's the good monster, and I was like, the only one that I haven't like in my whole theory. There's all these Canadian monsters, and Bigfoot never slotted in. And I noticed that on the show, there's several like zoom ins on people's feet. Like when Victor is pacing out the distance of the trees, he puts his foot in the puddle, you know, and it zooms in on his foot. And there's the word foot and the word big are used many times on the show. Like I think big is used 41 times and foot is used 18 times. So, that's another thing that points it to me. But that is probably my biggest reach, to be honest, for my whole theory. But I just think that they would make him part of it because they're trying to feature pretty much everything in Northeast Canadian folklore that they can, as far as I know. And Bigfoot's a big one. That's just my thinking.
So would you guess that he was the one that carried the tent then, Bigfoot?
Potentially, or the giant spider. There's basically 3 good gods on this show. The giant spider is a good one. Bigfoot is like the sun, sort of sun symbol team is Bigfoot, and then there's like a sort of semi-neutral who's the hag, sort of ambivalent. And that's what I think is going on. So I just had to put Bigfoot in there because he seems like he would be a guardian type character. I think it would freak a whole lot of people out if they saw Bigfoot randomly on the show. They wouldn't have any
Yeah.
idea what was going on. So, but you know, that's just how I'm thinking about it. I think there's no real thing pointing me to Bigfoot other than that there's an empty slot that I haven't filled yet that needs to make that I think Bigfoot would slot into very well. And then when I reverse that thought into searching the manuscript, I saw that they use the word big a lot, and I see them referencing feet a lot. They zoom in on people's feet a lot. So I thought that was maybe what they're trying to tell us. But I may be wrong. I don't know. You know, it's very hard to tell. But I think it would be a cool reveal to see Bigfoot. So I'm sticking with it. I'm keeping it in my theory. It's probably wrong. There's a lot of false positives in my theory. I know that for sure. Too many
I
false
was
positives.
Yeah, because I was thinking you was like we're
Yo,
gonna say
Bigfoot would be dope though.
yeah.
What if Bigfoot just picked the damn tent up and dragged Sarah and Boyd through the woods like that?
That would make sense because it's definitely something big.
It was either Bigfoot or the spider, one or the other. But I think
I
Bigfoot's
think it was
trapped.
I think it was a giant spider. But it would be, I
Yep.
mean, it would be cool to see that kind of reference in a show like this. That would be straight crazy. However, I think I'm not against people that believe in Bigfoots actually, or Sasquatch. I think that they're actually gentle creatures and have been made out to be like this like evil hiding kind of thing. I think they kind of hide because they know the nature of man
Mm-hmm.
and they may hide because of that. But I don't think that it's a far-fetched concept of a humanoid being that's bigger and has the ability to kind of a lot of people believe that speaking of what Tony says about fourth dimensional creatures, a lot of people believe that the Bigfoot is a fourth dimensional creature.
Interesting.
Yeah, I look that up. Bigfoot is a fourth dimensional creature.
Yeah.
So that would like he likes to laugh at your theory about Bigfoot every time it comes up. Him and Phil they laugh about it. But
That's
then
great. I like it. I like
then
it when they laugh because it'll
yeah,
be so mind blowing for them if it shows up.
if it shows up, it'll just be like whoa. But then at the same time, a lot of people say that Bigfoot is and it's a North American folklore. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? North American folklore.
And
So
indigenous folklore.
and indigenous folklore. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean it's definitely plausible. I like the crazy horse theory as well. As a matter of fact, there was a song in From that was by Crazy Horse. It was
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
that
think
was
I
really
wanna
cool.
go back home. Take
Yeah.
it easy. That's a Crazy Horse song right there.
I promise you, in season 3, we will meet Crazy Horse. I'm sorry, I truly believe it with all my heart. I would bet all sorts of money on it. You know, I
Now,
just know. I know that we're gonna see Crazy Horse. They use the word crazy on the show 39 times. 39 times. And how many times do they use horse? Twice, but we see horses everywhere in the background, don't we, Real?
okay, so this is what I would say, right? This is what I do for a lot of my theories. I try to debunk them. I try
Yeah.
to debunk all of my own theories first. So if I was trying to debunk your theory about certain things popping up in the dialogue, I
Yeah.
would go look up another show and see how those same words transfer.
Yeah, I've done
And
that before. I've
and
done
to
it with Lost because they're
Mhm.
similar shows.
God, there's so much with Lost. I can't wait till you finish watching that reel.
oh yeah, so you did that well, I mean that's from the same show creators and stuff though. So that kind of I mean get a totally different show and look
Mhm.
up the word how many times they use the word big and foot. You see what I'm saying? Like a totally different show that has nothing to do with the genre or anything.
Yeah.
And see how many times those words are used. Because some of those words, like, all right, so when you're writing a show in English for Americans, I'm sure that the choice of words might be a little bit different than when you're writing it in English for people that live in London. You know what I'm saying? for Europeans, and it would sound certain words that we use are kind of like redundant. We use a lot of like when we say cool all the time. Cool.
Well,
Like
cool is a clue on the show, by the way.
right. So cool. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I brought that up, because I know that's one of your dialogue clues. The
It's
word
even in one of
cool,
his songs. It's cool and breezy. It's one of his songs has it's cool and breezy in it.
right. And so the word cool, though, we use that all the time just to show you that song was an American song and they used the word cool in it. Now we use those kind of words all the time and it means different things. Like it means okay, cool, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. No, I get it. That's why they're able to hide it in the dialogue, right? Because it's part of our normal language. But like, for example, what's your name? I'm Ellis. Cool name. You know, it's just like, why? Why say cool name? You know? And then when Elgin is talking to Sarah in the church, he says, "So we made owls. You must think I'm really cool." Like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels forced. It feels inserted, you know? But look, that's just how I think. You know, maybe I'm seeing connections in everything. But look, we got so many people on the show, and you know, I don't see my girlfriend as often as I'd like, and she's very kindly waiting for us. So I'm going to drop out. Thanks everyone for listening. Hope I didn't upset anyone with what I was saying, and yeah.
oh no, not at all. Don't worry about that. This is, everybody here, if you don't love all the theories, then I mean you're in the wrong place. You can disagree with somebody's theory, and that's fine. We like the pushback. Like Taran's my homie, and I'll be pushing back on his theories right in front of y'all. Y'all
Yeah, I
listening
don't mind it. I don't mind it at all.
y'all listening to us on the live stream is totally hearing just like how we talk on the phone together. So that's what it is. And we push back on each other's theories because we would think and believe that steel sharpens steel
I
and
was just
iron
about to
sharpens
say
iron.
that, man. I was
Yeah.
just about to say that phrase.
Yes, there it is. See,
Steel
that's what
sharpens
happens. Great mind.
Anyway,
Okay.
goodbye everyone. I'm actually
Indeed.
gonna keep listening, but I'm gonna say goodbye. Bye everyone.
Indeed. Peace.
Have a good night or good afternoon, evening. It is now.
It'll be a good night for him, I think.
Yeah,
Is it
it's
good night?
almost
Okay.
it's 8 minutes to 11 over there.
Okay. See, I'm so not good with remembering where everybody is from. I apologize.
Okay, so we're up here. So Julie B's in the building as well. We have Carrie in the building, Scarlet Fever's in the building, and Chocolate Beauty's in the building.
Hey, Julie. Hey, Tata. Look,
Hey, how's
hey.
it going?
All is well, all is well.
Hello,
Well,
everyone.
oh, hey, I'm sorry.
Well, I ain't mean to talk over anybody. I just wanted to call in. I ain't really have nothing to say right now, though.
Okay, she got the New Orleans voice, the New Orleans accent. I think that there will be some significance to that area as well, especially when we're talking about hoodoo being on the show. I
Hmm.
think that these significant things will pop up, and depending on how you were raised or what you studied throughout your lifetime, you will start noticing some of these things as well.
Oh, you know what? I do have one thing to say. I saw somebody put in the chat about the yellow and the blue houses in Frumlin.
Yes.
And a lot of houses in the south paint their ceilings like blue, paint blue to kind of keep the evil spirits away, kind of confuse the spirit from the sky and from the sky and the house or whatever. Along
Mm,
with the bottle trees also kind of go indicative to like hoodoo. So the paint blue and then the blue bottle tree, the bottle trees.
Hmm. Oh yeah. We also now have the totems, right? Those I believe are somewhat symbolic of hoodoo totems with nails in them because I believe that's like a specific way of using the totem. I believe like the reference was hammering in the nail or hammering in a curse, and they use the nails to hammer it into. And it's I got like pictures of these different figurines that they use that literally have the nails hammered into the faces, which look similar to the totems that we now see in the trailer.
Also, the talisman looked like Veve. I forgot about that. The talisman. I put it in the Discord. I put in the different symbols of the Veve, and several of those symbols are on those talismans.
Yes, they are.
And the Veves could be hoodoo voodoo too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna pull something up real quick. Let's see if I can bring this up.
And they're
Oh,
called root workers, right? Or root doctors.
Yep.
Which it's interesting the fact that we see the roots as the symbol.
A conjurer, you could be called a conjurer, a root worker, um, the left-handed man or the left-handed woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're dealing with the dark stuff.
Mm-hmm.
yes, here
I
go.
just like how they
Here
use
are the
root
Nkisi.
workers. I thought that was
Now,
really.
I would be very shocked to see one that looks like this with two heads.
Mm-hmm.
That would be shocking if we see another one with two heads.
I
I
think it says about them, right? Like they're used in order, well, depending on the user, but they basically put it in like a graveyard, get the spirit to attach to it, and then they use it possibly in front of villages and towns in order to ward off witches and other evil.
yeah, they're different type of them. All of them are called Nkisi
Mm-hmm.
dolls, but these particular ones resemble the Nkandi dolls, which are usually seen with some sort of weapon, like this one right here. They're usually seen with some sort of weapon, and they have the nails in their heads. Now,
Mm-hmm.
some of them you'll see they'll have just the nails in the body and they won't have the nails in the head, and they represent different things. And some of those are not they're not for offense, they're for defense, like you said, like warding off stuff, but some of these are an offensive, like when you see them in a striking motion like this is an offensive posture, and they're used for offense to hurt someone, and these are used to protect someone or ward off evil or draw in kind spirits and to attract kind spirits. And some people have actually uh done x-rays on these dolls and found that there are items inside of some of them as well, and they put things in there, and some birds have been known to perch on these uh dolls as well. So here's one you can see where there's a hole in it. But sometimes even the ones that are solid, they have stuff inside of them, and they be sitting there wondering, well, how did he make that with this inside of it? But yeah,
Yeah, those were cool. Like, because it says here, according to Congo testimony of the early 20th century, people drive nails into the figures as part of a petition for help, healing, or witness, particularly of contracts and pledges. The purpose of the nailing is to awaken, and sometimes to enrage the, I'm not going to say this right, Kiski, Kissy, to the task in
and
hand.
Kissy, yeah, and Kissy.
And Kisi. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm terrible with the verbiage on a lot of these things we look up.
Oh, I butcher some stuff that I've been knowing for years. I butcher a lot of stuff. Don't worry about it.
I
But
know
yeah,
it's bad, but that's cool. Like, yeah, like I'm glad y'all saw that too because it was interesting the fact that I think those totems are also on the Peach Truck map, the one that's in Victor's little hidey hole.
Yeah, it is. It is. There's excuse me, there's definitely a picture of what looks like a scarecrow on the Peach Truck map, and it's right near what looks like could be the village. There's only one little scarecrow drawn there that I saw, but I think it's definitely one of the totems for sure.
Mm-hmm. I know there was one. I can't remember if there was more than one. I got to go back and look at that map because I know when we looked at it on Jeremy's, there was so much on that thing. And then now that we've seen more in the trailer, I'm just like, I don't want to go over that map some more so bad.
Right,
What
the
is it
thing
trying
is
to
so
tell us?
hard to see anything. It's so jumbled up. We need to like take a magnifying glass to that thing.
I
They got
know.
good eyes, cause
And I still swear there's a portal above the lighthouse on that map that shows where Tabitha went through.
Drop some
Or-
magnifying glasses in the chat for that statement. Yes, we definitely have to take the magnifying glasses to this thing.
For sure.
Oh,
That's what I love
I'm
about
looking
this show,
for
though,
my
right? Like, we all have so many different viewpoints, and I don't see anybody as being necessarily wrong because the show leaves it so open ended for anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
looking
why
for
so
my
many
food
people have
truck
so many
now.
different theories.
Mhm.
Didn't someone have a medicine bag? Was it Fatima had a medicine bag?
Tilly had her little
Or,
medicine in her pouch.
or it was Tilly. Okay. And so we call those gree bags.
Hmm.
Again,
Mm.
another nod to hoodoo voodoo. Or voodoo. Let me say it like that. Hoodoo voodoo or voodoo. Because we kind of interchanging with here.
Hmm.
So
Because was it hoodoo? Isn't it like the derivative? I mean, voodoo isn't it the base of hoodoo, and then it's mixed with like Christianity?
it's basically what region you in.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
what region
voodoo
of the
is the
South.
original.
Yeah.
Voodoo is the original, and it's the religion that comes from West Africa.
Hmm.
And that's spelled VODUN. That's voodoo. And then like hoodoo and voodoo is you gonna be kind of like those sea islands or like Georgia, the Carolinas, and then you got like Louisiana. I don't hear too many people talk about like hoodoo and stuff in like Alabama or Mississippi too much, but it's there. It's there. You just
Hmm.
they're not known for like the Sea Islands and Georgia and the Carolinas.
Yeah, we got the bottle trees down here in Alabama, but you probably don't see as much of the actual workings as you do in
You
like
probably
like you
see
said,
more
like
on the coast,
Louisiana.
like in
Yeah.
Mobile, right? Like around the
Yep.
Mobile area, you probably have
Yep.
more closer to New Orleans.
Yep. And so we got a lot of them where I live in Alabama, and I live southern Alabama. So and typically the ones we see are like not the ones you see in the show. It's the ones where you actually put it on. Well, they would use like a metal version, which I think is not really. If you're going to do it, you should do it the right way. Otherwise, it doesn't really have any meaning. But yeah, they've kind of taken it, and I wish they would put them on the actual trees, the bottles, because that's like the significance of it, right? Of the magic. It's the fact that it's a dead tree, and it's kind of like bringing those spirits there. But that's interesting, though.
Bringing the spirits there, that's interesting because I definitely think that the spirits of the dead are tied to the bottles in the tree on the show. So
I
that's
just now
cool.
posted a poll for people in the chat. Do you think I'm sure that most of you guys think that that From is bringing the people there based on their bloodlines and or associations to other people. Is that a fair statement to make?
I think so.
I think so too.
For sure.
So too.
Yeah, it's fair.
Or
It's
the
definitely a fair
aliens
statement.
brought them there. Or the aliens brought them there.
Or the aliens brought who we'll do that in another poll. Who believes it's aliens? If you believe it's aliens, then say no to this one. Okay. So we got a quarter of the people in the chat right now. What? There's 100 people in here. So 25 of those people, 25% of the people that answered the poll
Think it's aliens?
think that the people are not brought there. Now is that number is getting lower. Now it's 79% say yes. I'm just checking the tribe and checking the vibe. I'm just trying to see what people are thinking in the chat and who's in here with us. You know, the chat is open to people that don't follow the channel. If you hear, follow. Shoot a follow in there. Get the notifications when we go live because we do this every Wednesday earlier in the day, and we go live Saturday night live. and we're going to continue to drop videos. Yo, I think this is one of the dopest trailers, if not the best trailer that I've ever seen with any show or movie. And I don't know if I'm biased because I mean, if you've watched both seasons, you probably feel like that about this trailer. And if you've not watched this show at all and you saw that trailer, I'm sure that you want to watch the show. It was that kind of thing. Like, I can imagine if I never saw this show before and I saw that trailer, I'd be sitting there like, what the fuck is that? I gotta watch that. That shit looks crazy. And I'd be happy as hell finding out that they got 2 seasons that I could catch up on while I'm waiting on this next one. Like, and they didn't spoil anything other than Tabitha being out. Like, if you didn't see this show and you saw that trailer, then you'd automatically know that somebody made it out. You'd be like, oh shit, okay. You start watching the show and be like, okay, so that's the chick from the trailer. You know what I mean? But they don't really spoil much. There's still so much mystery. And word on the street is that they are going to be dropping a lot of information in this 3rd season. I believe it. I think they're going to reveal a lot of stuff. They're going to show a lot of things. And most important, I think that the actual characters are going to conversate more and pass around more information. That's what I've really been waiting to see. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to. I mean, this season, they're going to have to start providing more concrete answers because people are just getting restless. And yeah, word on the street is they're actually listening, like they've been paying attention to fan complaints. And, that there's that quote, the true nature of the town will start to come into focus. I don't know if it was John Griffin who said that or one of the showrunners. So I think they're not gonna, like, people shouldn't get too excited. Like, oh, now we're gonna know exactly what this place is. The whole mystery of the show would be over. We've gotta focus on the line. The true nature of the town will start to come into focus. People are jumping on the rest of it and getting all worked up, but I mean, I think they're gonna drop, excuse me, some heavy clues. But I personally, I don't want the whole thing to be answered. Otherwise, I mean, where's the fun in the show? And at that point, like, it will start to become maybe a bit more clear. We're going to get more hints. We're going to get clues, smaller answers, but the larger mystery will still remain. And I I think that the bloodline thing is going to start to become more and more obvious too, because I was thinking about this last night. If you think about it, what is with all the references and the obsession with trees in this show? What is it? I mean, there's the first thing people see once they're trapped is a fallen tree. At that point, they're already trapped. The whole place is surrounded by trees. The cameras are constantly focusing on the trees. They're in the opening credits, aerial views of the trees. The first thing Kenny does when he finds his father dead, he takes out his rage by chopping down a tree. There's the faraway trees. The artwork for the series has upside down trees all around it. Victor measures the tree distance and says they're getting closer. I mean, so, and then it all culminates in Jade seeing the symbol in tree roots. So what does this mean? Okay, are the trees alive and the trees are trapping them there? No, I think it's a reference to family trees and roots, which goes along with Real's theory. I think that's going to be probably more correct than a lot of other theories because it makes perfect sense when you look at the constant references to trees and roots and the power that they have, the power of the faraway trees, this bloody evil symbol now revealed to us is made of roots in that vision. To me, it just signals everyone is brought here due to bloodlines, and we're going to start to see clues. Hopefully, in season 3 as to that. So
I agree with that.
Me too.
But can I say one thing real? I'm sorry.
Sure, no, go
Before I
ahead.
lose it. I just want to reference because when she was saying that Kenny dad had died, and then he went outside and chopped the tree, they could reference like losing a piece of the family, because he chopped a piece of the tree.
Oh, yep. A limb, a family, or like a limb of the
Oh,
arm of a
that's
tree.
Yep.
heavy.
Yeah. And that's a major arm of Kenny's tree.
That's heavy. Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yeah, and
real
and
heavy.
then he used it to make the chess piece in memory of his dad. So
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, right. Because his father made those first chess pieces that they had.
Right.
Yes.
And I'm thinking that he didn't want them because they had the blood all over them.
Of course he didn't want that.
yeah,
That
that's
was
what he
too
said.
hard of a memory. And probably even playing chess here on that would be too hard for him as
And
well.
Boyd took one of those older pieces. He took the rook. He took the tower. He took the rook chess piece, which is the tower, and he kept that. He puts it down on his
Yes,
desk.
in front of Carter, in front of Carter, right? Wasn't in
Yeah,
front.
I think he did that when Kotri came in or something like that. But he definitely puts the chess piece down on the desk and sits at the desk at some point. I know
Yeah.
I had that clip in a
Yeah,
video.
I
He
remember.
does.
And
Now,
if I'm not mistaken, there's like a drop of blood on there. You know what I'm saying? And now
Mm.
a lot of people laughed at um my video about Kenny and how his family could possibly be tied to America, and it was about the Siamese twins. And the Siamese twins, I can't ever Hang and Fang or something like that, which means right and left. Like these dudes' parents named them right and left. I'm like, oh man, that's savage. that's that's a savage name after you have some Siamese twins and you name them right and left, yo. That's crazy.
it's like you boy, come here.
Chong and Aang, yeah. I'm like, yo, that's too savage. When I read that, I was like, wow, they parents is wrong for that. They need their ass whooped for naming the boys left and right, yo.
And, and real, another way if Kenny's family is Chinese, I think that's what because I think I asked what was their nationality. We had a lot of Chinese immigrants, um,
Who were a part of the Civil War
and working on the
and
railroads.
working on the railroads, which is pivotal in America. And like
Hmm. And working on
everything,
the
everything
railroads.
changed when the railroads got done. When they finally got done, the entire world changed. Actually, like America, that was something that really changed and revolutionized travel in America. And not just traveling for people, but the main thing, it was like goods, goods. And, because there were starving communities all over America, not just in, Jamestown, Virginia. There were starving, that was a normal occurrence. Like little communities that were out in the middle of nowhere, just trying to make it, trying to build their own homes and make their own way. They didn't have ways to eat. You know what I'm saying? And some of them had to, trade with the natives around in the local areas just to make, a way. And a lot of times the natives wasn't having that shit and they was just straight up slaughtering people. Like you got to think, Jamestown, Virginia started off with 500 people and it ended up with only 60. So they was just killing, they was killing every third person. The natives was killing every third person, and if they died by natural causes or they got sick and died or something like that, if they didn't get sick, they got eaten. If you died and you didn't get sick, oh, they ate your body. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, they really went through a crazy time, and it lasted for the entire winter of 1609 to the spring of 1610. That's a long ass time to have to live like that for some months. Then you only make it out. Think they took the survivors up to the Chesapeake Bay, and they took them there to the Chesapeake Bay, and they made them work. And these dudes was probably skinny like Martin. But yo, yeah, I digress on that, y'all. Somebody go ahead.
look, when you had said something about railroads just a minute ago, I was thinking, that railroad definitely stood out in the beginning of like season 1. So I was like,
Yes,
maybe Kenny ancestors was there building a railroad. Maybe that's where it started with his family line.
absolutely. Absolutely. Could definitely be there. And I think that I didn't even put that in my season 3 theory, but I think that the railroads will be talked about at some point. Those roads meant something. They didn't just put those there just to have us, and as a matter of fact, they changed. They actually CGI'd certain things out at different times. That was a definite clue. And when Ethan walks into the into the diner, the song "Last Train to Clarksville" comes on, and Last Train to Clarksville is a reference to the Vietnam War. That was a protest song against the Vietnam War. It was
Oh,
about a dude that was on his way to war, and he was telling his girl to meet him in Clarksville and take the last train to Clarksville and meet him there at the station
oh,
because he was going on his way to fight in the Vietnam War. And it was a protest song. And the crazy thing about that song was it wasn't by an actual group or actual artist. These guys were TV stars, the Monkees. And their music was so good on the show, they actually was dropping some of their songs on the radio and whatnot. Kind of like the Partridge Family did a couple of songs as well. But yeah,
Yeah, those train tracks are there for a reason. I was rewatching the first episode, and they make a really deliberate point of showing an aerial view with the train tracks that the Matthews keep crossing again and again. They go over the tracks, and so I mean that had to be part of the story at one point. There, like once they're crossing over the train tracks, they've already entered Fromland. They're already here. So there was a train here at some point, and I think they need to address that for sure. Like I want to know where that came into the story. Like, is their train going to show up here? Like, they're old tracks. I don't think so. But there was a train here at some point. There had to be. I don't think that was a red herring.
oh yeah, I don't either. Especially with the fact that they kind of changed and switched up. Somebody said the railroad is glitching on the show. Now it could be a glitch. It could definitely be some sort of glitch, and that would add some credence to the scientific theory. I shared something with Tony on the phone one time about something that happened on From. I want to see if you guys are feeling this clip here. Hold on, let me see. It won't let me add this because it's too big. So I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna play a part of it. See if y'all can vibe with me. I said, yo, I'm gonna give you. I told him, I said, yo, I'm gonna give you some ammunition for your John, for your theory, because I don't agree with you, but I can't front like this ain't in the show, and you my man, so I'm gonna tell you what time it is with it. Y'all remember when Boyd went to kill Smiles Davis? Okay. And I know y'all be laughing when I call him Smiles Davis, but that's his name. That's his name, y'all. That's his real name. Like, what kind of guy wears a shirt like that is not named Smiles Davis? Like
that's what I was just
Oh
thinking
no,
about, bro.
Percy,
the the
Percy said,
And his
wait,
little
hold on.
cardigan.
Let me see what it say. He said the railroad symbolic of the crossing roads, or like the crossroads, like the railroad. But I didn't see if it was a four-way though. I don't think it was a four-way. Was it a four-way?
No, it wasn't a 4-way. But see,
Okay,
the
I don't think
interesting
it's a
thing about it is,
crossroads then.
I'm sorry.
No, I was saying I don't think it's a crossroad then if it wasn't a four-way.
No, it was just a road, like a regular, train. One single track going through a single road.
No, like the no,
no,
okay, never mind.
so the road and the railroad tracks did cross though. So the road is
Okay,
going, yeah. So the
yep,
road and the railroad tracks actually did form a cross in that section. But
okay.
here's what now All right, so I like that. That's why I'm gonna leave this up. Purple Alizé says, yeah, Railroad is glitching on the show. So glitching would imply that there's some sort of digital or some sort of existential glitch in the reality as they kept passing by the railroad tracks, things kept changing. That is a very good clue to the credence of people who believe that this is some sort of simulation. Now, here's something else. This is let me bring it up. Uh-oh. Let me bring it up here. Here we have Smiles Davis and Boyd's encounter. And during this encounter, when when Boyd puts his hand to his neck, you can hear electricity. Like as the worms is leaving his hand, it sounds electric. It's like click, 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 click. You can hear it. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it on here. I don't know if it'll translate, but I'm gonna play it anyway so that you know exactly what spot I'm talking about, and you can go check it out for yourself. And if you can't hear it, you can't hear it. But this is it here. I can't even hear it. And Smiles Davis, he said, I like this game. Hold on.
Previously.
Ah, man. So I lost the spot already. Hold on, let's find it again. All right, so we're going here. All right, here we are. So he cuts him, and you'll hear it. It almost sounded like a taser. It almost sounded like a taser, y'all. So, nah, that's in there. That was definitely in there. It sounded like a taser. Did y'all hear it? Did you hear it?
What about
I
a whole
heard
bunch of insects kind of like chipping and moving around? Because it kind of sound like that too.
Nah,
Like
you're
little
right.
feet.
You're definitely right about that. It does sound like that too a bit. It definitely does sound like that.
I found I found the aliens.
it
The
could have been the
bugs.
cicadas. It could have been cicadas or whatever. I think that the cicadas went in there and yes, Vladimir says it sounds like cicadas. I think that
run it back one more time when you get a chance, real.
okay, I'll run the sound back. Let me see where I put it at. Oh man. It's such a hassle getting these kind of videos up here that are longer like this. I'll yo, go look at the spot in the video. It will do you no justice to hear it through this microphone from these studio speakers. Go listen to it. It sounds like a taser to me, but I'm not mad at it sounding like something slimy moving either. Like, some insects or something. It sounds like that. A couple people were saying it sounds like cicadas, but it definitely sounded kind of the cicada thing is cool because they sound like uh they're rhythmic. They have a rhythm when they flutter their little whatever sound they're making.
Mm-hmm.
The timestamp, sis, I don't know the exact timestamp. It's right there when right after Boyd cuts him and he puts his hand on his neck and he says those little Martin blood brother ritual words.
Did y'all ever look up the life cycle of a cicada? Because they're kind of little wormy looking things before they turn into a cicada.
Yes, they're nymphs. They're nymphs. Cicadas are nymphs before they turn into cicadas. They are nymphs.
So that could be like the worms we see like under the skin.
That's what I was thinking. And I'm thinking that the reason why Boyd saw worms coming out the ballerina's mouth is because he thought in his mind that they were worms under his skin.
Mm-hmm.
When in actuality they were cicada nymphs and everything that's in his mind is what these entities can use against him. Now, aside from Martin, I don't think Martin was in his mind at some point, but the information that he knew, Martin knew about Abby, that's in Boyd's mind. Even what Sarah told Mr. Fishing Loaves, that's in Boyd's mind as well. Their minds could be connected in some sort of way if they're, able to be accessed by these creatures, like just like how the creatures know everybody's name. You know what I'm saying? Like, did one of the creatures find out everybody's name and start telling all the other creatures? I doubt it. I think that they all just kind of innately know everyone's name
Yeah.
and everyone's situation, everyone's backstory. Like a lot of people have a theory that fears are being materialized in Frumlin, and that could be a possibility as well. Um, because if they know your name and your backstory and all of that, they would know your fears and stuff. Even Sarah suggests that the cicadas was one of Nathan's fears, and
Mm-hmm.
that could possibly have been recreated there. I'm like, yo, I say I'm 40% on that this town is manifesting people's fears. I'm not mad at it at all, but
Yeah, I can
I
see it in like a nightmare realm sort of
yeah, I could see
scenario.
that. I could totally see that. I could totally see that. Now, aliens is probably like my last
Yeah,
theory.
that's my last theory. That was simulation. And it's
I
not that I
would
don't see it. I just hope it's not that.
yeah, I hope it's not that because it'd just be kind of lazy to just be like, okay, this is aliens. Like, nah, I want to see
Mhm.
something that's actually thought provoking.
Yeah, I feel
Because
like they built this show up so much for it just to be an alien trope or just to be like a simulation trope. It's kind of injustice to the show. Although it's possible, it's still
it's
very much so
definitely
a possibility.
possible. It's definitely possible, but you got to think this show has been in the works for 2 decades.
Hmm.
They've been writing this for 20 years. I don't think that they are coming are gonna waste all that time on an alien joint. When you get we get a new alien joint every year, damn near.
Hmm.
You know, I think that they're coming with a little something different. Lost was different. Lost
Hmm.
was something that we never saw before. Like there wasn't anything out in the works that was like Lost or could even compete in that type of genre. I know of. What was out around that time? Was The Prisoner out that time? Because The Prisoner was fire. The
I'm
Prisoner
gonna have
had
to
the
check
dude
that
from
one out.
The Prisoner had the first Magneto dude in it. What was his name? I can't remember his name. The dude that played Magneto for. But speaking of Magneto, I heard that I totally neglected to realize that the Russo brothers are executive producers on From, and I was like, what? Yo, this shit about to turn up at some point. I'm just telling y'all that right now because they don't play. So I mean, you talking about all the Marvel shit? They've been in that. They fucked with Stranger Things. Yeah. So them being EPs on this, I saw somebody post that in my Discord. Yo, I'm about to pin the Discord in the chat. Somebody go ahead and take it away while I get to that real quick. Pin the
Um,
Discord. Y'all join the Discord, y'all.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know who was just was mentioning the trees, and when they show us the area view in the opening scene, like let's say season one,
yeah,
um, I don't think it's a lighthouse per se. I think it's some type of tower. Where the water at? But then again, you do see Victor does have some drawings with water and people in the boat. So I don't know.
yeah.
Okay,
They
so
don't show water, but that doesn't mean that there isn't
Yeah,
water. It's
because over that
unclear.
hill, you can't quite see on the other side of the lighthouse. There's sort of like a hill there, and then it's almost like a ravine in the middle, or some
Okay.
kind of like gutter. So I think there was once water there, mostly because of the images that we see from Victor or Eloise, where they show literally a river of water in a boat, almost like a
Right.
bloody boat.
when
And
you
then
look
some
at
kind of
when you
ship
look
drawing.
at what Tabitha even asked, where's the water coming from down in the tunnel when she was
Mhm.
with Victor. So there's some water nearby for sure.
You know, it could be underground now, right? Like, because we've seen so many different things in From as far as landscape and buildings and stuff. So, like, I could see the fact that From, first of all, if it is a real place, like an actual, real tangible place, not like a dimensional place, not a nightmare realm or something like that, that for these things to be changing like that is really odd. So this has got to be something to me like outside of time and space in a sense. So for it to have items there which seem to almost be pulled from our memories or nostalgia, but it's corrupted. It's highly corrupted and from everything from the music box, the lighthouse, the diner, the monsters, everything is nostalgia. Like you said, from American like culture. So is I just wonder like where they're going to go with this because I'm hoping they're not going to take it and shortcome us with this next couple seasons because they've laid the foundation for what could be really really good as
Yeah,
far
they've
as
laid the
where they're going to
foundation
go.
for something that could be like one of the greatest shows ever for sure. You're right about that. They've
and I just
laid
wonder where it's going to actually pull from. Like we've seen that literally using the word from as the title of the show. Where is this from? Like it seems like it's from something that we've seen before, but we can't put our finger on it from the
Right.
lore. Everything that we see is like, where is this from? I've seen this before. It's almost triggering something in your brain, and which is why we all see something different. So it's so I'm so curious. This show has my brain just always like I don't have a single theory. I just mostly have observations because even with the cicadas, right? Everything we've already said about the cicadas, well, the fact that cicadas also feed off the nectar of trees, and we have the trees. Trees are prominent. Cicadas are now prominent. What is going to be the next line with that?
What?
Scar, I wanted to say something about what you were just saying about underground or something. Well, I do believe that they are in a town that went on is like under sea level and it flooded out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that town might exist like in the real world. If they say Tabitha in the real world, I think it might exist in the real world, and she might show up there, but it's like a condemned town. You know what I mean? So it's like nothing, and that goes back to like the train tracks because it's like overgrown bushes and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
only time they will let a train track go down like that is nobody can actually go through there if it's like a condemned town or something. So I'm thinking maybe it flooded out and maybe they had some chemicals or something in that town. You never know, but they condemned it. But
real quick. Shout out to Miss Don P. Shout out to Delcinia. We got Susie Greenberg in the building. We got a lot of new people in here. Anna's in the building. We got Dr. Deb. Julia Barbara is in the building. Sweet Pea. Percy. Percy Garcia is in the building. He's down there cooking in the chat as usual. We also have Gothic Chick 4 is in the building. Vladimir's in the building. Gardenia Blossoms. Gary Fagan. Gary Fagan says it sounds like bugs. Hey, I'm not mad at it at all. I was just trying to, uh, you know, give a little pushback on my own theory a little bit. I definitely do like the glitch aspect. We got Kiwi Skirt in the chat.
Everybody's
Yeah.
here tonight, guys.
Everybody's here tonight. We got Aaliyah in the building. Susie Greenberg. Luke Star Killer is in the building.
It
Spidey's
sounds
down
like
in
that
there. We
part.
got everybody. Jay Sleek.
Everybody's here. I swear, you guys. I love
True
all you guys in the
DC
chat. Y'all
fan.
are
True
awesome.
DC fan. Okay, true DC fan. Yeah. What you think about that Watchmen's movie that just came out recently? True DC fan. I think DC knocked it out the park this time. Woo! That was fire. Yes, DW is in the building. Who else is in here brand new? Beverly Jackson's in the building. I saw her in there. I highlighted some of her comments. Blessed Baby is in the building. Blessed Baby. Blessed Baby says, I think it's a nightmare too. Hey, that's dope.
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
dope. There's a lot of stuff that support that. A lot of talk about dreams, a lot of talk about nightmares. Um, Donna even says to the Stevens family, welcome to your worst nightmare. She definitely says that.
What
Yes.
about? I do agree with Tyron when he was like Stephen King, because now that you like, as we calling out things, Stephen King has so many books with a lot of references that could be a part of From. And then my other thing
Thomas
I wanted to say,
Thomas
like the Sleeping Beauty one, they like in a simulation, and they got the 11/22/63, something like that. It's so many he have. I don't read
yeah.
the Outsider. It's a lot that you could put into from Stephen King. So I feel like the writers of the show are like those are the
Yes,
sons and
indeed.
daughter of King.
I think
I
that
don't.
the writers of the show have done a great job of adding nuances that all types of different audience members can grasp onto. I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure that you could probably take a family, a man and his wife, or somebody and their spouse watching the show, probably have two total different ideas about the show, and they sit and they talk about it. There are a lot of people that are in love with this show. They talk about, all the theories. They love the theories. I love all of the theories. I'm not if this turned out to be straight up an alien that looked just like ET, and I wouldn't even be mad at it. I'm having such a great time with the show, and I'm having such a great time with the community that's come around to speak about the show and to view my videos and my thoughts on the show. I've done other videos on other shows and movies and stuff, but and they got taken down, like the Beetlejuice video. But I'm gonna add some more stuff. From is not gonna last forever, so
I don't think so either.
I definitely am going to be covering some other things and just showing my expertise and how I look at TV shows and movies. But From has did a great job. Most shows you watch, everybody's kind of like on the same page about what's happening.
Right.
From's community is all over the place,
All over.
and I think that the most enjoyable thing about the show is actually getting with other people to talk about it. That's
It,
like one of the dopest things about this show. That's why we're all sitting in here right now. So yes, indeed. But we're gonna be getting up out of here in a little while. But
and one more thing about the trees.
I
What
want to
about
go ahead and let you
the
speak before.
druids? What about the trees being? They're like the faraway trees being druid trees. Because some of the some of the
Mm-hmm.
they say some of the people live in it is a tree. The druid is a living thing, like a person in a sense.
And these are oak trees, right?
I don't know what
That we're
kind of.
seeing in the show, because that would make sense. Because I think the druids hold the oak trees as like
Okay.
a great symbol.
And I just got finished reading this book called A Canopy Keeper, and it talk about like humanoid tree things, but the trees communicate with each other. And in the book it say how if one tree is dying, the other trees will send some of their energy or water to that tree to try to save it. So it's just showing about that book with the Canopy Keeper was talking about the sequoias, but I'm more unsure like that root network works for everything. I mean for all the trees in like a forest.
Yeah, that could definitely be possible. Um, for me, how I've done my research, I just look for things that jump out to me that I know about, and then I find other things and I kind of brush up on information that I kind of knew a little bit about, and then I find more things. But every time I listen to one of your theories and other people's theories, it makes me want to look into more things and search more things that may possibly have connections with this show. I think that's like the dopest part about this show. Will a sh- will another show be able to come out and compete with this? You know, we have some out there now. We have shows like Severance. Severance is out there. Carrie dropped off. I don't know where she went. But Severance is out there, and Severance has a lot of great mystery involved with it as well. Um, However, it doesn't have as much mystery, and they give more answers. They gave a lot of answers away. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah,
They,
Three
they
Body Problems was kind of like that, but they pretty much let you know what's up with that really quick as well.
exactly
But I liked how they kind of made like the first couple episodes. I was like, "What are we doing? What are we doing?" and then they showed us it was aliens, and I'm like, okay, it's fine, it's fine.
Yeah, I kind of peeped that automatically when they did like they made the sky go blank.
hmm
They
Mm-hmm.
made the sky blink on there. I was
I
like,
ain't gonna
oh,
lie, like the first 2 episodes, I think I was sitting here thinking, man, what kind of simulation shit is this? They try to play with us, and then it was the eye in the sky, and I'm like, okay, I know where we're going. We're
Three
good.
Body Problem was pretty fire. I like it. Are they coming back with a season 2?
Yes, they should be. I think
Mm.
they're lit for 3 seasons, but I have to go back and double check that.
Oh, that's gonna be fire.
Supercell just got renewed for a second season.
I haven't seen Supercell. I looked. I
Oh man,
saw
you
the.
got to watch it. You got to watch it.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
really good.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta catch up on Severance, and then I know Yellow Jackets is somewhat similar to From. It's pretty decent.
Yeah. A
Don't know where
Yellow
they're
Jacket
going.
has a lot of from.
I still don't know if it's magic or they're all crazy.
Yeah.
A little bit of both.
It's definitely has something to do with magic because the symbol that was on the tree started appearing like right away.
hmm
I think that something magical actually made their plane land. And it's because of these girls and the shit that they do and the shit that they had going on. Like the one girl purposely broke the girl's leg. The one girl sleeping with her best friend's boyfriend and got pregnant by him. Just they all had some shit with them. And they all had
hmm
problems that they were working through. And something pulled their plane down. And I mean, just pretty much killed all the adults got killed right away, except for one. You know what I'm saying? And he was hanging on by a thread. He only had a one leg, and you know he was hanging on by a thread. He's about to bleed to death. He was going to die or something anyway. So yeah, I think that I'm not going to drop a bunch of my theories for Yellow Jackets on this live, but I have some theories for Yellow Jackets. I didn't like it too much. I didn't really like the cannibalism aspect of it, but
That was brutal. No,
it's okay.
that was wild. I ain't
Yeah,
gonna lie. That was
it's
wild. If you guys haven't watched it, trigger warnings, man, because it gets. Yeah, what they did with the I don't even want to say the baby. That was. Mm. I got From vibes from that though, right? Like, because what they gonna do with this baby?
Wayward Pines. Somebody said Wayward Pines. Wayward Pines was fire. Only thing about Wayward Pines was the second season was ass.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely dropped
The
the ball
first
on that
season
one.
was fire, and then they get rid of the main character. I thought they was going to bring him back some kind of way, but they never brought him back. I was like, wow, you killed the main character. He was holding that show together, to be honest.
hmm
Him, Terrence Howard, all their scenes, they were still in the show. They stole the entire show, and the teacher chick, she was fire. She great actress. I forget
That
her name.
that was only supposed to be a limited series. That's the problem with that. That's why season 2 was completely different. They just, they revealed the whole mystery, and then it just turned into a dystopian drama after that because it wasn't supposed to go more than one season. It's a shame. I loved season 1, but yeah, if they had planned on this being a multi-season thing, then it would have continued to be awesome. I think it just wasn't designed that way.
You're right, because dropping the whole clue about them being 500 years in the future was just like in the first season was just like holy shit fuck.
Yeah.
And so you can't do any shit fucks that's worse than that. Like you can't get any bigger than what the reality of what they exposed or what they gave away.
Yeah.
Um they should have let people figure that out.
Yeah. I
They
was
should have let
disappointed about that.
Yeah, they should have
Well,
let people figure that out over maybe 3 seasons if it was supposed to be limited. But they totally broke it apart with the season 2 shit. And then they just made it very weird Game of Thronesy type shit. The House of Dragon with the guy being the mom the mom being the girlfriend. That's crazy as shit. I don't know why they did that. They flipped out with that.
yeah, they didn't know what to do anymore after the mystery was revealed. I think that's just
Whose
why it fell off.
idea? Whose idea was that though? Like
That
that
was
just
crazy.
I that just totally just I was like, man, I'm not even interested in this no more. I'm glad they did it get canceled, or did they just say, you know what, fuck season 2?
I don't know. I don't know if it got canceled or if they just decided to end it right there, because it just it wasn't the same show anymore in season 2. Nobody liked it anymore. I haven't really heard anyone say they enjoyed it that much.
Yeah. Well, we had a great conversation. We had a great live stream for this afternoon. I know other people are probably about to be doing some live streams, so y'all can go ahead and head over there. I know Tony dropped a video today, said he was going live tonight to talk about his video. Go check his stream out. Go check and see what he got going on. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. So anyway, just a little something to think about while we wait on the next episode. That's all for the live stream today. I'll catch you in the next one.